This page is the front cover of Dreamcast Magazine, Volume 30, from 1999. The main headline highlights Sega creators gathering for the Tokyo Game Show '99 Autumn event. The cover features two main special features. The first is a report on the AM show, teasing the third in a series of new games from Sonic Team, which is revealed to be Choo Choo Rocket, a cute and quirky puzzle game. The second special feature is a direct guide to the Tokyo Game Show '99 Autumn, promising to help readers survive the exciting two-day event. There is also a cover story project focusing on Sega's vision for the year 2000, with passionate discussions from 8 key Sega creators: Tetsuya Mizuguchi, Yuji Naka, Shuji Iri, Soichiro Namikawa, Rikiya Nakagawa, Hiru Koji, Kenji Sasaki, and Yu Suzuki. Game titles mentioned on the cover include Space Channel 5, Rent a Hero No. 1, J-League Pro Soccer Club, Otsukuru, Sengoku Turb, Death Crimson 2, Zombie Revenge, SNK vs. Capcom, and D2 Shock, Naomi Arrive, Istue. The magazine issue date is noted as 1999, Volume 30, and the price is 420 yen.
Sections on reader races and reader rankings are also advertised.
This page is an advertisement for pre-order bonuses for the game Revive Sosei, which translates to Revive Rebirth, a trapped adventure game for the Sega Dreamcast. Pre-ordering at specific retailers will net you different exclusive bonuses. Yodobashi Camera offers a clear poster featuring a school uniform version of a character, exclusive to their store. Softmap provides a spring special telephone card and a special sleeve, also exclusive to Softmap. Messe Sano offers a spring special telephone card with a character in private clothes, exclusive to Messe. The page also promotes the Revive Sosei CD drama and opening theme song titled Feel Me by Chiharu Yonekura. The CD drama Portrait one is already on sale, and there's a CD release schedule listed for other Revive-related CDs. Finally, it announces a special Revive event at the Tokyo Game Show '99 Autumn on September 19th. This event will feature a special live performance by Chiharu Yonekura singing the opening theme,
and a voice actor talk show with the voice cast of the game including Satsuki Yukino, Yuko Nagashima, Naomi Sasahara, M.I. Minamikawa, and Sayaka Kitajo. The game itself is set to be released on October 28, 1999, priced at 6,800 yen before tax. This page features a visually striking image of 3 anime-style women draped in white sheets, creating a dreamy and sensual atmosphere. In the top right corner, the Dreamcast logo is prominently displayed. The main text on the page is Revive, with the subtext, which is the phonetic reading of Revive in Japanese katakana. The bottom left corner has copyright details indicating 1999 Data East Corp. This page likely serves as a promotional image for something related to Data East and the Dreamcast, possibly hinting at a game or project called Revive. This page is the contents page for the magazine, outlining the articles featured. It highlights key sections, including a special feature on the 2000th year of Sega and the upcoming Tokyo Game Show '99 Autumn. There's a Dreamcast scoop section mentioning highly anticipated titles like Shenmue, Space Channel 5, and Choo Choo Rocket. Other games listed within the contents include J-League Pro Soccer Club, Wotsukuru, Sengoku Turb, Descramble 2 Melonets Festival, Zombie Revenge, D2, and a section called Naomi Rush mentioning Dead or Alive 2, F355 Challenge, and SNK vs. CAP-CCOM. This Dreamcast Magazine page showcases upcoming games. Dreamcast Hot Information highlights Street Fighter II, I Double Impact, ESPIONAGENTS, Espionage Agents, the Japan-only Maboroshi Tsukio, Pansa Front, Idol Janshi, Otsuku Chao Heart, Black Matrix ADVANST, Black Matrix Advanced, Suku no Kihei, Space Griffin Parasite Paradigm, Space Griffin Blaze, Yukyu Gensukyoku, 3 Perpetual Blue, Rainbow Cotton, Saragiki Livebreed, and Dreamcast Soft Complete Guide lists games with page numbers. Climax Landers, Time Stalkers, Pro Yaku Team Otsukuru, Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling 2 Konratsuden 4, New Japan Pro Wrestling Fighting Spirit Legend 4, Kidu Senken Nadesico The Mission, and Cool Borders BURRRRN. These include fighting, strategy, snowboarding, and sports titles.
This page is an advertisement for Perfect Guides, published by SoftBank Publishing. It highlights guides for 2 games. Mobile Suit Gundam MSVS, described as a combat simulator developed by Anaheim Electronics, and Terrors. The Mobile Suit Gundam MSVS guide promises in-depth information, pilot training methods, and MS data. The Terrors guide covers the game's best stories, endings, and hidden truths, and is expected to be released in September. Below, there is a list of WonderSwan games and their perfect guides with prices. These include SD Gundam Emotional Jam, Chaos Gear, Unknown Invader, Last Stand, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Shito Ikusei, Vice Lead, and Super Robot Wars Compact. All listed guides are priced at either 980 or 1,100 yen. The advert also mentions Kakuto Ryuri Densetsu Bistro Recipe Wonder Battle Compilation as a guidebook expected in October. This page is reporting live from the AM show on September 9, 1999, highlighting Sega's strong presence, with the NAOMI arcade board being a major focus. The Sega booth is buzzing with activity, especially around stage events. Namco is also officially participating with NAOMI. The Sega booth stage is showcasing various games with developers presenting and demonstrating titles like World Kicks, likely a soccer game. The most exciting stage event is for Samba de Amigo, featuring a vibrant carnival atmosphere with dancers in Mexican and Brazilian-style costumes. Yuji Naka of Sonic Team is present, presumably involved with the stage presentation of Samba de Amigo. The F355 Challenge stage features developers Suzuki Hiroshi and Shimizu Kazuo, demonstrating the game's 8-player online multiplayer and highlighting its realism, even impressing a pro racer. Finally, Outrigger is also being showcased, with developers Katagiri and Katagiri from Research and Development 2 explaining the game and answering questions, with a popular tournament planned for the public day. Dreamcast Magazine spotlights upcoming games leveraging Sega and NAOMI hardware. Samba de Amigo, a rhythm action game from Sonic Team, uses maraca controllers for unique sound and features catchy Latin music. Outrigger, a communication action shooter from Software 2 Research, promises intuitive 3D action and network battles. Namco's World Kicks, a futsal-style soccer game, caters to the Dreamcast audience. Finally, Tecmo's Dead or Alive 2, a highly anticipated and visually impressive fighting game, showcases the power of the NAOMI platform. This page is a breaking news report showcasing a variety of upcoming Sega arcade games. Featured games include F355 Challenge Twin, a racing game for up to 8 players with VM slot functionality, scheduled for November. Derby Owners Club, a horse racing simulation for up to 8 players, is also highlighted and is stated to be 100% complete in development. Toy Fighter, a 2-player fighting game with toy characters, is also 100% complete. The Typing of the Dead, a zombie typing game for 2 players, is slated for release in 1999. Jumbo Safari, a safari driving action game for a single player, is receiving positive feedback and is also complete. Emergency Call Ambulance, a job-based game where you drive an ambulance, set for October release for 1 player, is 99% complete. Star Wars Episode 1, Racer Arcade, a video game adaptation of the arcade title, is also mentioned as being developed by the same Soft 5 Lab team behind Sega Rally 2, focusing on pod racing. Other titles briefly noted include Spawn, Idol Janshi Suchi Pai, Power Shovel ni Noru, and Rap Mania, showcasing a diverse range of games on the horizon. The PlayStation 2 was announced at a price of 39,800 yen, with the console set to launch on March 4th, targeting 1 million units in the first week. Regional releases were planned for Asia in summer 2000 and Europe in autumn. The next-generation console boasts backward compatibility and DVD playback. Launch titles include games like Gran Turismo 2000, Tekken Tag Tournament, and Ridge Racer. A list of 2-player games was also provided. Screenshots highlighted the improved graphics of games such as Tekken Tag Tournament and Ridge Racer. Additionally, the Dreamcast version of the Alexander Senki Reign the Conqueror game, a real-time simulation based on the anime, was also announced. The next page features several news snippets and information. Firstly, there's a report on a Dreamcast music tool called Utoiren, which is designed to be easy to use even without musical knowledge. An experience event was held in Tokyo on September 10th. Next, there's news about Digicube launching a new service using communication satellites to distribute game software and music through convenience stores nationwide. This service uses a digital content terminal and aims to provide digital content sales, addressing the issues with packaged game sales. The page also highlights biohazard code, Veronica goods, specifically large figures. By collecting bonus parts from the entire series, a giant 60 centimeters figure can be assembled. The Dreamcast version of Biohazard Code Veronica is stated to be released on December 2nd. The article emphasizes the high quality of the figures to recreate the Biohazard world. In other news, Namco's theme parks, Namco Namjatown in Ikebukuro and Namco Wonder Eggs 3 in Futako Tamagawa, are offering discounts on Prefectural Day. Specific dates and prefectures enjoying discounts in October and November are listed. Finally, Joyopolis in Shinjuku is promoting ladies' service every Wednesday, offering female visitors flower seeds. There's also an event where a Queen of Beauty will be a one-day manager at Tokyo JP on September 9th. The page also has a recruitment advertisement for a Joyopolis Campaign Girl unit, showcasing previous members and application details. This page highlights several news items and events. Firstly, there's news about the Neo Geo Pocket Color receiving a new, smaller version set to release on October 21st, maintaining the same performance but at a reduced price. There is also a feature on the Korean hit RPG Winds Nocturne by Softmax and Nihon Falcom, making its debut in Japan with enhancements tailored for Japanese players. An art exhibition called Go Fa is announced in Tokyo's Shibuya, running from October 2nd to December 5th, showcasing original artwork from popular manga artists and illustrators under the theme All of Flat 99. A radio program dedicated to the Angelique series, titled Angelique Kiss Kiss Paradise, is starting on Radio Nippon every Saturday from October 2nd, hosted by the voice actors for Oscar and Luva. In live performance news, Tomokazu Seki will star in the play Deep Fog Hotel, a black comedy, at Roppongi Kyoto Hall in mid-October. Finally, there's news regarding the game magazine Game Meisu facing bankruptcy, with publisher Shinseisha taking over proceedings, although there's also information suggesting the magazine might continue publication under new management. This page is showcasing the internet drama series for Dreamcast called Grauen no Torikago, or Grauen's Birdcage. This is the first installment of the series, and it is available for download via D-Direct, Sega's online service. The drama is presented in 6 chapters, known as Capital, with the first chapter released on September 30th for 2,800 yen each. The subsequent chapters are scheduled for release monthly, concluding in July 2000. Grauen no Torikago is a suspense drama produced by Yasushi Akimoto and stars Yuna Yoshino. The story revolves around a high school girl named Yuna Katada, who moves to a mansion outside Tokyo and becomes entangled in mysterious incidents and a strange murder case. The page also features screenshots from the drama's user interface, showing menu options like entrance, mail, option, and special interview, as well as in-game scenes with the characters and dialogue. Additionally, the page advertises the Hang the DJ soundtrack CD for the film of the same name, released by Marvelous Entertainment and Pony Canyon, priced at 1,575 yen. The CD features club music by top DJs and is described as capturing the world of top DJs in a documentary style. The next page is from the Dorimaga Exploration Team column, investigating CESA, the Computer Entertainment Software Association. The article highlights that the Tokyo Game Show is opening to the public the next day and aims to explain what CESA is and its activities in the 3 years since its establishment. CESA is described as the organization behind the Tokyo Game Show, and the article explores its various roles. These roles include managing and operating the Tokyo Game Show, hosting the CESA Awards, publishing the CESA Game White Paper, and establishing ethical regulations for the game industry. The page also features the CESA organizational chart and lists the names of CESA directors and officers. This page features an interview with CESA personnel, specifically Mr. Kataho Taiji, regarding the Tokyo Game Show 99 Autumn. The interview discusses the history and purpose of the Tokyo Game Show, emphasizing it as a platform for game makers to showcase their software. There's a detailed overview of the Tokyo Game Show 99 Autumn, including dates for the public and business days in September 1999 at Makuhari Messe. Key exhibitors like Sega Enterprises, Sony Computer Entertainment, and Microsoft are listed as collaborators. The expected attendance is 150,000 people. The page also includes past Tokyo Game Show attendance figures from 96 to 99, showing consistent growth. A Q&A section provides visitor information, such as free entry for elementary school children and younger, kids' corners available for years, and special discounts for disabled people. It also mentions that parking might be full, recommending train travel. Finally, there's a section highlighting networking and stage events as key attractions for the Tokyo Game Show '99 autumn, and a small piece of news about the Dreamcast's successful North American launch with 350,000 pre-orders. The next page is an advertisement for a fanbook called KG Battle Country TURB Fanbook, advertised as the final announcement and a farewell. It mentions that if you read the book, you'll understand the manga, and it's described as the final chapter and a goodbye meeting. The book is B5 size and transformable, available for 2,800 yen plus tax. It also provides order instructions for bookstores and direct orders, including details about postage costs and website orders.
The Dreamcast's top 10 best-selling games are New Japan Pro Wrestling, Toucan Retsuden 4 first, Seaman second, Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story 0079, Rise from the Ashes 3rd, Soul Calibur 4th, Martian Successor Nadesico, The Mission 5th, Let's Make a Pro Baseball Teams 6th, Dancing Blade, Kateni Momotenshi 7th, Cool Borders Burn 8th, Air Force Delta 9th, and Tokyo Highway Challenge 10th. Several games feature online communication and network features, emphasizing multiplayer experiences. New entries include New Japan Pro Wrestling, Toucan Retsuden 4, and Dancing Blade. Kateni Momotenshi Seaman is now readily available, while Tokyo Highway Challenge, despite being an older release, maintains high quality. Air Force Delta boasts controller compatibility for enhanced gameplay.
This page presents the anticipated titles top 30 ranking chosen by readers, focusing on upcoming Dreamcast games. At number 1 is Shenmue Yokosuka, highlighting new information about the game with screenshots, mentioning large volume content, open scenes, bike mini-games, and reading sections. It notes a 95% completion rate. Ranked at number 2 is Grandia 2, showcasing full polygon graphics with screenshots. The text discusses the camera perspective, being behind the character, and potentially changing angles according to the situation. The completion rate is indicated with a question mark. Coming in at number 3 is Biohazard Code, Veronica, Resident Evil Code, Veronica, with text focusing on knife-only gameplay, a popular trend among Biohazard, Resident Evil fans. It also mentions the knife appearing in this installment and poses a challenge to players.
Completion is also marked with a question mark.
The weekly pickup section previews Space Channel 5, a music game, asking, "Can you play it?" and hinting at producer interviews coming soon. Completion rate is at 42%. The Coming Soon section showcases Choo Choo Rocket, described as amazing, simple, fun, emphasizing easy rules and multiplayer modes including network battles. It mentions this is a new Sonic Team game and highlights initial limited editions. Completion rate is at 48%. Further down, Shanghai Dynasty is briefly mentioned alongside a Mahjong game screenshot, described as a basic Shanghai game with 4-player battle mode. Finally, Rainbow Cotton is featured with a screenshot, stating Cotton is coming to Dreamcast as a 3D shooting game. This page features 2 main rankings and some game announcements. Firstly, there's a top 20 desired ports list, showing what games readers want to see on Dreamcast. Top titles include Dead or Alive 2, Tekken Tag Tournament, Nights into Dreams, Sakura Tyson Series, Metal Gear Solid, The King of Fighters 99, Crazy Taxi, and Street Fighter II Third Strike. Next, there's a top 15 video game income ranking for arcade games. This list is topped by Virtua Striker 2 Ver.2000, Virtua Fighter 3 TB, The King of Fighters 99, Tekken Tag Tournament, and Street Fighter II Third Strike, indicating popular arcade titles. There's a weekly pickup section highlighting F355 Challenge, noting the twin cabinet version and its link to Dreamcast, where players can save game data on the VMU and use Dreamcast for racing research, even sharing driving lines and data. Finally, there's a coming soon announcement for SNK vs. Capcom, provisional title. This section reveals that popular characters from both SNK and Capcom will be featured in this Dream crossover fighting game, and some characters will be unveiled. This document details upcoming Dreamcast and Saturn software and hardware releases. Dreamcast software releases for late 1999 include titles like Shenmue, Sonic Adventure, Choo Choo Rocket, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Saturn software releases include games like Monster Breed, Virtual On Oratorio Tangram, and Sonic 3D Flicky's Island. Games scheduled for release into 2000 are also listed, including sequels and titles such as Grandia 2 and Super Robot Taisen Alpha. Hardware peripherals for the Dreamcast include a fishing controller, zip drive, microphone, and train controller. The document also mentions MILCD music releases. The Dreamcast Reader's Race Ranking, a popularity contest, showcases its top 20 games, with Soul Calibur reigning supreme. Following closely are Sega Rally 2 and Sonic Adventure, alongside the House of the Dead 2 and Giant Graham All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 in the top 5. Other notable titles include Kita E, White Illumination, Poppin' Music, and Eternal Arcadia. 2 new entries are reviewed. New Japan Pro Wrestling 2 Densetsu 4 at rank 45, praised for its realism but criticized for gameplay limitations, and the highly regarded RPG, Eternal Arcadia, Skies of Arcadia, debuting at 48 and lauded for its graphics, story, and depth. A screenshot of Eternal Arcadia is included. The page reaffirms Soul Calibur's top spot and highlights To Heart as a popular title. This page ranks Dreamcast games, highlighting Soul Calibur, Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team, and Seaman. Soul Calibur, ranked number 1, is lauded for its advanced 3D fighting mechanics, stunning graphics, and deep gameplay, even appealing to non-fighting game fans. Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team, Hooked, ranked 8th, is a baseball simulation game with improved graphics and an approachable interface, offering a deep management experience for both new and experienced players. Seaman, ranked 16th, is a unique audio communication game, featuring a creature you raise and interact with, using a microphone. The review praises its charm, humor, and novel gameplay. The page also includes reader-voted top games and a section on discounted and trending titles. This page offers reviews, rankings, and reader opinions on Dreamcast games and accessories. New Game Check. Reviews include Cool Borders Burn, praised for graphics and speed, 8.9333 average, and Mobile Suit Gundam Gaiden, 8.9166 average, despite some shortcomings. Odds table ranks peripherals, with Furu Furu Pak at the top. Extra Gaming Hall features reader comments on titles like Dasum 2, Superhero Strategy, and an increasing number of others. Mobile Battleship Nadesico. The mission is reviewed. 8.7619 average. The page also highlights a reader race contest, Odds Forecast Corner, with reader predictions, and a weekly prize giveaway for an arcade stick and visual memory bundle. This page features reviews for 2 Dreamcast games slated for release on September 23rd. The first game reviewed is ESPIONAGENTS, a simulation game where you manage a team of agents to complete missions. Reviewers highlight the high difficulty and puzzle-like nature of the gameplay, emphasizing strategic planning and careful execution of actions. It's described as a game where you need to thoroughly understand the system to succeed, and while challenging, it offers a rewarding sense of accomplishment. The reviewers are REI and MAN, and the game received an average score of 7.33 out of 10. The second game is Maboroshi Tsukiyo, a romance adventure game set during summer with a focus on relationships with multiple girls. The review praises the beautiful artwork and solid storyline, and the calendar feature to track character locations. However, some reviewers found the character relationships and plot developments to be somewhat predictable. Despite some cliches, it's considered a relaxing and enjoyable game with good music and voice acting, although some elements like background music and character expressions might be a bit lacking. The reviewers are REI, and it received an average score of 6.66 out of 10. This page reviews 2 Dreamcast games releasing September 23rd. Idle Janshi Otsukuchou, Let's Make an Idle Mahjong Player, allows players to create and train idle mahjong players. Reviewers praised its accessibility for beginners, appealing animation and characters, and the making mode for customizing outfits, even finding humor in some costume options. The game received a 7.6610. Atsumare, Guru Guru Onsen, Gather Around Guru Guru Hot Springs,
is a network-compatible party game set in a hot spring. Reviewers enjoyed the fun, casual atmosphere and online battles, highlighting the ability to chat and play games like Mahjong with friends. It's considered a good entry point for online gaming, scoring 8.0/10.
The next page is an advertisement for SoftBank Publishing's Strategy Guide campaign for 1999. It promotes strategy guides and features prizes you can win by purchasing them. Prizes include a WonderSwan handheld console, a GameSpot two-way bag, Neo Runga trading cards, and QUO cards worth 500 yen. The campaign runs from August to September 1999 and mentions strategy guides for SD Gundam G Generation 0 and Soul Calibur as eligible for entry. This page is a special feature titled Sega in the Year 2000 and is a must-read before the Tokyo Game Show. It's an interview with 8 of Sega's key creators who passionately discuss the next generation of Sega. The article mentions it's been over a year since the Dreamcast announcement in autumn '99, and Sega's creators are now moving forward on various projects, including games requiring long development times and those utilizing online infrastructure. It highlights the integration of arcade and home console development within Sega and explores the creators' thoughts on the future of gaming and Sega itself, aiming to reveal the ideal form of games and Sega's direction beyond the year 2000. It's presented as an urgent, front-page interview offering passionate insights into Sega's vision. This page is from Dreamcast Magazine and is titled 2000 of Sega's Posture, and features an interview with Sega Software 9's Tetsuya Mizuguchi. The interview discusses Mizuguchi's approach to game development, emphasizing the importance of focusing on the player's experience and creating games that evoke strong feelings. The page previews Space Channel 5, highlighting it as a new rhythm action game for the Dreamcast. It describes the game as focusing on memory and rhythm and reflexes, aiming to deliver a unique sense of speed and exhilaration. The game's director, Yamada, is mentioned as the designer of rival characters and Knuckles for the Sonic series. Screenshots from Space Channel 5 are shown, featuring the main character Ulala in her distinctive outfit, and showcasing the game's stylish and colorful visuals. The game is described as an action game where you dance and defeat aliens as reporter Ulala. The text mentions that the game is being showcased at the Sega booth and encourages readers to check it out at the Tokyo Game Show. This page is an interview with Yuji Naka, the head of Sega Soft 8, who talks about Sonic Team's latest direction. He announces that 4 new titles will be revealed at the Tokyo Game Show. Among these are Samba de Amigo, Sonic Adventure International, and Choo Choo Rocket. Yuji Naka explains that Sonic Team is now focusing on creating games that prioritize fun and communication, moving away from lengthy development cycles, and embracing the Dreamcast's play and communication philosophy. The page also includes screenshots from Samba de Amigo and Choo Choo Rocket. In 2000, Sega focused on the Dreamcast, particularly the upcoming port of Cyber Troopers Virtual on Oratorio Tangram. An interview with Juro Watari from Sega Soft Third Research highlights the Dreamcast version's ambition to leverage network battles, offering a unique communication experience beyond a simple port. Online versus play would be featured. The game supports the twin-stick controller. Screenshots show improved graphics compared to the Saturn version. The page also introduces Taro Wataru's arcade game, Touch de Uno, a simplified card game using a touch panel on the Naomi arcade board, aiming for broader accessibility. It was in location testing. This page is focused on the upcoming Dreamcast game Cyber Troopers Virtual on Oratorio Tangram, referred to as Oratan. The page header highlights that 8 creators are passionately discussing the next generation of Sega. The top left section promotes that the full Dreamcast version of Virtual on Oratorio Tangram is playable at the Tokyo Game Show, TGS. It mentions the graphics are slightly downgraded from the arcade version, but the quality is still comparable, and emphasizes that it's not just a simple arcade port. The interview section discusses online communication features and the game's version being 5.4 for the game show. The bottom section acts as a preview for the game at TGS, stating a year-end release is inevitable, and it's the first public showing of the Dreamcast version. It highlights the game fully utilizes the Dreamcast's online capabilities, offering a manga/anime-like experience on Dreamcast. It mentions the development took 2 years, and focuses on the high quality of the port and online battles being possible at the game show. It also mentions that twin sticks for the Dreamcast will be unveiled at TGS, and they are different from the Sega Saturn twin sticks. This page features an interview with Toshihiro Nagoshi from Sega AM4 Research and Development, discussing Sega's direction for the year 2000, Focusing on the Dreamcast. The main topic is Virtua Striker 2 Ver. 2000, showcased on the NAOMI arcade system and planned for Dreamcast. Nagoshi emphasizes the positive reception to Dreamcast games and Sega's commitment to creating unique and high-quality experiences for the platform, specifically mentioning the home version of Virtua Striker 2 Ver. 2000. He wants players to feel the #1 quality of the game. A screenshot from Virtua Striker 2 Ver. 2000 is featured, alongside a smaller section highlighting Spike Out, another game from Sega, with its own in-game screenshot. Nagoshi expresses his desire for Sega to be innovative and not just focus on polygon count, but to always pursue new and interesting ideas. Sega Soft One Research's Rikiya Nakagawa discusses Sega's commitment to the arcade market. Despite the rise of home consoles, he denies any abandonment of high-end arcade games, emphasizing responsiveness to market demands. The interview highlights new arcade titles showcased at the AM show, including Emergency Call Ambulance, a unique driving game, and The Typing of the Dead, a zombie-themed typing game based on House of the Dead 2. Nakagawa emphasizes the linkage between arcade and Dreamcast, aiming for more than simple ports. He also discusses the NAOMI system's performance and cost-effectiveness, and Sega's desire to attract both hardcore and casual players, even those who might have lost interest in gaming. Future plans for NAOMI titles focus on appealing to both core gamers and a broader audience. This page is an interview with Hisao Oguchi from Sega Soft Research and Development Department 3, titled, "Now the Guys Left at Sega Are Really Sega Lovers." Oguchi discusses Sega's transition to focusing on software and game design over hardware specifications. He emphasizes the importance of interesting game concepts and communication in development, highlighting his latest work, Darby Owners Club, an arcade game that is very popular at Shibuya Gigo and is focused on player interaction and communication. He mentions the Dreamcast version of ORATAN and how Sega is aiming to create games that encourage network play and user engagement. He also talks about how Sega wants to create games that players truly enjoy and that represent what Sega is all about.
The page also shows screenshots of the arcade game Jumbo Safari, an animal shooting game using the NAOMI board, which was showcased at the AM show and is praised for its quick drive action controls and is being readied for operation.
This page is an interview with Kenji Sasaki, head of Sega Soft 5th Research Department, discussing the evolution of hardware and game development. Sasaki emphasizes the need for Sega to constantly push hardware forward to unlock new creative possibilities for games. He talks about their latest project, the arcade game, Star Wars Episode 1, Racer, based on the pod racing scene from the movie. He mentions that the team previously worked on Sega Rally 2 and Star Wars Trilogy Arcade. Sasaki highlights the importance of focusing on the core fun of gameplay and creating immersive experiences beyond just graphical improvements. He mentions that while graphics are crucial, the focus should shift to gameplay itself as hardware evolves. The interview also touches upon the development process of Star Wars Episode 1, Racer,
revealing it was created using Naomi arcade hardware and showcased at the AM show as a demo video.
Sasaki states that they aim to deliver a game that truly captures the excitement of pod racing, drawing from their expertise in racing game development gained from the Sega Rally series. A highlighted box on the page promotes Star Wars Episode 1, Racer, as the latest creation from the team behind the Sega Rally series, promising thrilling high-speed battles for multiple players. This page is an interview with Yu Suzuki from Sega Soft 2 Research Department, discussing Shenmue and Sega's vision for the year 2000. The interview focuses on the charm of Shenmue and what players can expect. Yu Suzuki mentions that the concept of Shenmue includes hope and bike and forklift, laughs. He talks about demonstrating Shenmue at the game show, with himself doing the demonstration on stage. Yu Suzuki discusses the game's progress, stating that it is about 95% complete, and they are focusing on bug fixing and adding final touches. He mentions that the game's appeal has grown beyond initial expectations, now representing about 30% of the overall charm, initially thought to be 10%. He teases that there are still hidden secrets in Shenmue, and that the game show will reveal some of them.
The atmosphere at the game show venue is said to recreate Yokosuka. The interview touches on the Dreamcast and arcade game linkage using visual memory. It mentions that the networking functionality will be showcased, offering unprecedented developments for players. The upcoming Tokyo Game Show on September 13th is mentioned as a key event for Sega, and Yu Suzuki himself will be on stage for Shenmue demonstrations. The screenshot shows Ryo Hazuki on a motorbike with Shenhua Ling, The page emphasizes that Shenmue is a flagship title pushing the boundaries of games and visual expression. This page is a special report focusing on the highly anticipated Dreamcast title, Shenmue Chapter 1, Yokosuka. It's touted as the #1 anticipated game and highlights the latest information, announcing that players can experience the allure of Shenmue at the Tokyo Game Show. The page emphasizes several new details about the game. It mentions that the introduction to the story will be revealed, detailing the full opening movie and the unfolding drama. Players will explore the Hazuki residence right after the start of the game, showcasing early gameplay elements and systems. Another section highlights an exciting motorbike scene involving Hazuki and a minigame. Finally, it introduces Hazuki-chan appearing in Yokosuka town, presenting her support corner and interviews in Dobuita. The special report indicates the game is 95% complete and set for release on October 28 from Sega, priced at 6,800 yen. It will come on 3 discs, with a limited edition containing 4 discs. The game is described as FREE, referring to Full Reactive Eyes Entertainment, the development team. The page also briefly mentions Shenmue Second Chapter, tentative title, as being in development with release date and price to be determined, also from Sega, and free. The text talks about the long silence being broken and the grand saga of Shenmue beginning, inviting players to experience the opening and introduction at the game show and step into the world of Shenmue. This page is focused on the Sega Dreamcast game, Shenmue. The headline highlights, "A grand story begins here. Sudden incident." The text describes the beginning of the story on a snowy day, where the protagonist, Ryo Hazuki, returns home to find his father murdered. The page showcases the game's cinematic presentation, with screenshots of Ryo, scenes of his father's dojo, and a black car. The article suggests the game is about a mystery surrounding the Hazuki family and mysterious men, setting up the dramatic narrative and revenge quest at the heart of Shenmue. It mentions Ryo's background as a successor of the Hazuki-style martial arts and his journey to China for training. The checkpoint section emphasizes the realistic and detailed Hazuki house setting, describing it as a grand residence with gardens and a dojo, highlighting the game's attention to detail in recreating a believable environment. The page also mentions polygon animals in the garden pond, which are koi carp. This page is an introduction to the story of Shenmue, focusing on the character Lan Dai, also known as Saoryu or Blue Dragon. The page title highlights, "Finally Revealed, Introduction to the Story of Shenmue." It delves into Lan Dai's past and his connection to the Hazuki family. Screenshots depict scenes where Lan Dai confronts Iwao Hazuki, demanding the dragon mirror, with the phrase, "Give me the mirror!" Another image shows Lan Dai stating that the mirror is buried under the Hazuki family's tree. There are also action shots emphasizing combat, with Lan Dai saying, "I will make you die like a martial artist." The page hints at a tragic separation and emotional scenes, with phrases like, "father," and "beloved friend." It seems to introduce the main antagonist, and sets the stage for the revenge story and the central role of the Dragon Mirror in Shenmue. This page is a preview of Shenmue, focusing on the game's opening stages within the Hazuki residence. It highlights the meticulous design evident everywhere in the game. The article details Ryo's room as the central hub, where players begin their actions, save the game, configure settings, and rest. It also mentions that Ryo returns to this room daily and can set up training routines. A key gameplay mechanic explained is the A-button action system, simplifying interactions to a single button press for actions like conversations and opening doors. The game also features a lock-on function, activated by the R trigger, which automatically focuses the camera on interactive objects when zoomed in, making exploration user-friendly. An example screenshot demonstrates this, with Ryo focusing on mandarins on a kotatsu table. The preview also introduces a thrilling bike scene where Ryo must rescue Harasaki. This quest involves a timed bike chase to the port, emphasizing speed and requiring players to navigate using analog controls and trigger buttons. Screenshots illustrate the bike chase gameplay and dialogue between Ryo and Harasaki. This page is about the game Shenmue and its gameplay mechanics. It details how players can examine objects in detail using a lock-on feature and triggers, allowing for rotation and close inspection. Items are found throughout the game world and are stored in an inventory. The game uses a memo system to record events and guide the player on what to do next, acting as a helpful reminder. A help system is also available at any time through the start button, providing guidance on controls and gameplay. The page hints at the story development, mentioning the protagonist Ryo Hazuki's quest for revenge for his father's death and the involvement of a character named Kang Long,
possibly related to Ryo's father's past. There is also an interview section with Yu Suzuki, the general director of Shenmue, where he mentions the depth of the game and the extensive time spent checking and refining it, suggesting a playtime of around 50 hours, potentially extending to 100 hours for players who fully immerse themselves and explore all aspects of the game world. The page concludes with images suggesting a motorcycle scene involving Ryo and another female character, hinting at story progression and character relationships. This page is a Dreamcast special report showcasing Shenmue as the #1 most anticipated title. It features Hazuki Ishikawa, who plays Nozomi Harasaki in Shenmue, visiting Yokosuka, the game's setting. The page includes interview sections where Ishikawa discusses her recent work on Shenmue, noting that recent recordings were for Chapter 1, and mentions her regular radio show, Anime Donburi. She talks about the development team being very busy and expresses excitement for the fans' reactions when Shenmue is released, hoping it will be moving and impressive for first-time players. There's also a section about a Sega Game Show event where Shenmue gameplay is showcased, featuring Yu Suzuki and Masaya Matsukaze in stage demonstrations and talk shows. A profile section details Hazuki Ishikawa's background, including her role as Nozomi Harasaki in Shenmue, her birthday, and hobbies such as tennis and painting. This page focuses on Shenmue, particularly its connection to the real-life Yokosuka setting. It reports from Yokosuka and highlights the location's influence on the game. An interview with a likely voice actress describes her nostalgic experience playing the trial version, mentioning familiar locations and characters, and expressing excitement about the game's story and visuals. She also mentions the game show, her family's positive reaction to the game, and her experience filming in Yokosuka. The page also announces the winners of a stamp rally and showcases Shenmue's impressive visuals, comparing in-game graphics to real-world locations, and discussing the Dreamcast's potential for long-lasting software. This page is all about Space Channel 5. It is presented as a Dreamcast special feature with a large 5 and the game title prominently displayed. The page announces that Sega is releasing Space Channel 5 this winter, and it will cost 5,800 yen. It is a music game for one player only. The text talks about the sensational debut of Ulala, the protagonist, who has been reporting energetically online for a week already. An interview with Mr. Mizuguchi, the producer of the show, reveals the highlights and appeal of the program. It urges readers to enjoy the game. The section, "Aim for viewer ratings up," explains the gameplay. It states that you must return the same key inputs as the Merolian aliens' dances, dancing in time with the music, and rescuing the Earthlings, who are being made to dance by the Merolians. If you dance well, Channel 5's viewer ratings will go up, but if you fail to rescue the Earthlings, the ratings will plummet. It encourages readers to become first-rate reporters by raising Ulala's viewer ratings to 100%. The screenshots show in-game scenes of Ulala and the Merolians dancing. One screenshot highlights the viewer rating percentage, and another shows gameplay with Merolians and Earthlings. The phrase, "Merolian invades," is also featured prominently, suggesting the game's main premise is dealing with an alien invasion through dance and reporting. This page is all about Space Channel 5, highlighting Dance and Attack and Report as the main feature. It introduces the game's premise. Mysterious Merolian aliens have arrived on Earth and are forcing people to dance. Players take on the role of a reporter, investigating and rescuing people. There's a special report from the Tokyo Game Show with a special report banner and a completion rate of 30%. The page also introduces the new reporter, Ula-chan, describing her as a rookie reporter whose ratings are in danger of falling. She loves hot springs and dances for the sake of the Earth. Screenshots show in-game scenes featuring Ulala and the distinctive Merolian aliens in action. This page is an advertisement for Space Channel 5, featuring colorful character figures and the game's logo prominently displayed. The page includes the website address www.spacechannel5.com and a Dreamcast special report banner advertising the upcoming rhythm action game. The next page showcases Space Channel 5, featuring an image of Ulala. It highlights that this special visual was designed for the Tokyo Game Show shopper bag to hold flyers and other items. The text emphasizes its stylish design, appealing to Sega shoppers' unique sense, and even surprising the editorial department. It mentions that these bags are planned for distribution at JR Kaihin Makuhari Station, the closest station to the venue, and encourages readers to look forward to getting one, noting that quantities are limited. This page is an interview with Tetsuya Mizuguchi, the producer of Space Channel 5. Mizuguchi discusses the game's concept, emphasizing that it's more than just a music game, focusing on reflexes, memory, and appealing to the senses. He describes the game's keywords as dancing, fighting, and being dragged along, which he feels are difficult to explain with existing game terminology. Mizuguchi mentions his previous work on the racing game Sega Rally, and how his move to Dreamcast allowed him to explore new game genres. He expresses hope that Dreamcast can offer unique and interesting games like Space Channel 5, and looks forward to the game's debut at the Tokyo Game Show. He invites people to try the game and share their thoughts. This page is about the audition for the voice actress for Ura in Space Channel 5, part of a TBS variety show called Chance No Palace. The audition had around 600 applicants, and the initial screening was based on voice only. The page shows screenshots of Ura dancing, and mentions the game's Shibuya-like setting. There are comments from staff about the game being designed by Mr. Canada, and the characters being created by female designers. It also touches on the idea that the game is aimed at home consoles and not arcades. The audition process involved appeals from contestants and judging sessions with guests like announcers and voice actors. Ultimately, Ura's voice actress was chosen, described as a housewife with a young voice, suitable for the role. The page also shows images from the audition process itself, with judges and hopeful voice actresses. This page is showcasing Choo Choo Rocket, a new action puzzle game from Sonic Team for the Dreamcast, emphasizing its fun for both single-player and up to 4-player battles. It's described as the third in a series of new game releases from Sonic Team. The game is playable by 1 to 4 players and also supports online battles using the Dreamcast modem. The page highlights a special limited edition offer for the initial release, a vibrant skeleton orange Dreamcast controller bundled with Choo Choo Rocket for 4,800 yen. The standard edition of the game on its own is priced at 2,800 yen. This special edition controller is exclusively available with the first release of Choo Choo Rocket, and is designed with a translucent orange shell. The screenshots show gameplay of Choo Choo Rocket, with multiple players competing in a maze-like environment and a win screen. It mentions that the game will be exhibited at the Tokyo Game Show in 1999. The game is scheduled for release on November 11th. It also supports VGA, VM, arcade stick, and keyboard. This page is dedicated to the game Choo Choo Rocket, a multiplayer puzzle action game for Dreamcast, where up to 4 players can participate. The goal is to guide mice into rockets using arrows, while avoiding cats, which reduce your mice count by 1/3 if caught. The page highlights several modes, including a 4-player battle mode where players compete to collect the most mice, a network mode for online play, a stage challenge mode for 12 players, and a puzzle mode for a single player. The page describes the mice as cute characters that move according to certain rules, and players strategically place arrows in 4 directions to guide them into their rockets. Bonus mice worth 50 points appear occasionally. Roulette events can occur, adding further unpredictability to the gameplay, such as rocket shifts and cat outbreaks. The game features different arrow types, each player having up to 3 arrows available at a time, placed using the A, B, X, and Y buttons corresponding to directions. The What's Next Week section at the bottom announces new Sonic Team titles, specifically mentioning the 4th title in the series will be revealed, and points to the release date of September 24th, Friday. This page is a preview for Rent a Hero No. 1, coming to Dreamcast from Mega Drive. It highlights the evolution of the action gameplay as it moves from a side-view perspective to a 3D action RPG. The page questions how the random encounters from the Mega Drive version will translate to the Dreamcast, speculating whether enemies will appear unexpectedly in the 3D city environments, similar to a Spike-Out style. The screenshots show gameplay comparisons between the Mega Drive and Dreamcast versions, focusing on the battles and city exploration. It mentions that defeating enemies in the city streets in the Mega Drive version leads to side-view fighting scenes. The Dreamcast version is shown to have 3D city exploration and battles that occur in the same field. It's also noted that upon transformation in the game, you need to rush to a convenience store, implying a time limit or resource management element. The game is described as a 3D action RPG and is stated to be for 1 player, with release date and price still to be determined by Sega. This page is about Rent a Hero No. 1, an action game for Dreamcast. It's being compared to Spike-Out in terms of action scenes and movement. The article highlights the simple controls of Rent a Hero No. 1, mentioning it's easy for beginners to enjoy, using 1 button for attacks similar to Spike-Out. It details attack motions and movement motions, showcasing screenshots from both games side by side for comparison. Rent a Hero No. 1 is shown to have similar running and jumping motions as Spike-Out, with a focus on 3D movement unlike the 2D movement in previous Spike-Out games. The special move, Dragon Thunder, is also showcased, described as a powerful technique utilizing combat armor and money. It also mentions this move is also present in Fighter's Megamix on Sega Saturn. The page announces a Rent a Hero show at the Tokyo Game Show 99 Autumn on September 18th at Sega booth. There will be photo opportunities with Rent a Hero and Polaroid services at the booth. Finally, there is a section about an official reader's corner called Official Reader's Corner, finally starting soon. It mentions reader participation and submissions for various segments, including Africa Ogawa Teacher's Willow Classroom, Words of Wisdom Dojo, Dad Joke King, and Development Love Diary. There is also a general illustration corner. Readers are invited to send in submissions to Dreamcast Magazine editorial department for Rent a Hero returns. This page is a Dreamcast feature focusing on the game Professional Soccer Club Wo Tsukuru, also known as Saskatsuku. The article highlights the depth of management simulation in the game, emphasizing the player development and team-building aspects. It mentions realistic player movements achieved with motion capture by former Urakawa Reds player Osamu Hirose. The feature also showcases the cheering song editing function and the dynamic supporter reactions within the game. The game is scheduled for release on September 30th, priced at 6,800 yen, and supports keyboard and VGA. The article is previewing the game for the upcoming Tokyo Game Show in fall 1999. This page details the player acquisition system in J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru for the Dreamcast, highlighting that every January is dedicated to this process. It explains that the Dreamcast version features a new acquisition system, splitting January into 8 turns where clubs, universities, and companies engage in a new player acquisition battle. Unlike a lottery system, it's more of a bidding war. The page breaks down key aspects of negotiation, setting contract years, suggesting 12 years initially as it's hard to judge new players immediately, and setting salaries based on player stats, noting higher profile players demand higher wages, leading to bidding wars. It also mentions the player's response to offers, highlighting that they might reject your club if they have better offers elsewhere. Successfully offering suitable terms leads to the player joining, while failing to offer enough for high-profile players means they'll likely sign with another club. The article advises not to solely focus on newcomers and suggests scouting current players for immediate team improvement. It emphasizes narrowing down player searches by type to improve scouting efficiency and focusing on acquiring players for specific positions rather than just accumulating talent. Finally, it cautions against excessive player acquisition, warning of potential financial issues, decreased team compatibility, and the challenge of managing multiple contract renewals at once. It stresses budgeting carefully for player acquisitions and considering player fit to avoid negative impacts on team morale and performance. This guide highlights promising players in Let's Make a Pro Soccer Club. It recommends scouting both Japanese and foreign talent. Japanese players are valuable due to their development potential within domestic limits. Key Japanese players include versatile forward Yazawa Ryoma, legendary striker Kawamoto Oniko, skillful forwards Haruo Takuma and Yoda Masatake, and passing maestro Miyamoto Tokujiro. Foreign star players, though costlier, offer significant team boosts, allowing competition in top leagues. Featured foreign players are Argentinian striker Batista, Brazilian ace Ronaldo, Italian forward Piazzolo, Brazilian striker Simon, and English winger Beck, each known for their unique strengths. The ultimate goal is to acquire these players to build a successful football club. This page is all about the cheer song editing feature in a Dreamcast soccer game, likely the J-League game mentioned in the title, J-League Pro Soccer Club Wo Tsukuru. The page interviews sound team members Murasaki Hiroshi, the sound director, and Kobayashi Hidetoshi, a new creator. The feature focuses on making your own original cheer songs in the game. It highlights that even with limited musical knowledge, players can create authentic sounding cheers using tempo, beat, and even halftone scales. You can also input alphabet letters to create player names and chants, giving a feeling of being on the pitch. For those less musically inclined, sample songs, including music from classic Sega games like Afterburner, Space Harrier, and Outrun, are provided to use as a base. In matches, you can set up to 3 different cheer songs to play depending on the game situation, adding realism by having different cheers for attacking and defending. The game allows you to save and load your cheer song data. The screenshots showcase the editing menus with options for melody, beat, tempo, and sample song selection, including songs titled Dreams Dreams, AWW Banzai Fairly, PS Dantabayon, PS Motopia Star, and PS Palmare Star. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Senkoku Turb, also known as Battle Turb internationally. It is described as a fan disc being released by the creators of the original Senkoku Turb game for fans in January 1999. The page highlights a minigame called Senkoku Turb Episode 0, Become a Sheep Soldier and Kill Cats. The text explains that Episode 0 is a prequel to the main Senkoku Turb story, set before the events of Episode 1, Visitor. You play as Gertrude, the sheep soldier captain, leading your army from Sheep Castle to conquer Cat Castle and eliminate the cats. The minigame's story involves invitations from the cat country for a party. However, upon arrival, the sheep soldiers are turned into Makaton, sheep. This game depicts the events leading up to this incident, where Gertrude, as the sheep army captain, embarks on a campaign to attack the cat country. Screenshots show gameplay with 3D graphics, featuring characters like Gertrude and environments within the game. The page also mentions that this minigame collection will be released by NEC Home Electronics and will be communication compatible, with the release date and price yet to be determined. The Senkoku TRB Bunkasai event celebrates the release of Senkoku TRB FID online via Dream Passport 2 and various browsers. It includes exhibitions, merchandise, and games like Neko Soldier Outing Diary and a quiz tournament. Senkoku TRB gameplay involves transforming sheep into trees and then into soldiers. The cat soldier unit, known for cruelty and consuming fairies, contrasts with the relatively unscathed sheep soldiers. The character Alice B from the sheep soldier army is featured. The event also showcases minigames. Bayon Bayon the Race features Deki Sokanai characters, bear-rabbit hybrids. Gino-chan, absent from Episode 0, appears in the Deki Sokanai minigame. This page presents a roundtable discussion commemorating the release of Sengoku TURB FID, a Dreamcast game. The discussion features key developers, sound designer Okubo Yasuharu, also known as Bombo, and designer Kuroyanagi Yoko, also known as Nano Rayspecs, along with a person named Masutani. The conversation touches on various aspects of the game's development and reception, starting with fan feedback collected through a fanbook questionnaire, which was very positive. They discussed the game's high price, with participants noting that while expensive, it's worth it for those who can appreciate the quality. The sound design and character design are highlighted, with Okubo being responsible for the sound and Kuroyanagi for the visual elements. Programming aspects are also mentioned. The game itself, Sengoku TURB FID, appears to be a unique title likely exclusive to Japan, as it does not have a well-known international release under that name. The screenshots in the background suggest a quirky and visually distinct game. This page is a preview for Senkoku TURB FID for the Dreamcast, which is introduced as being more than just minigames and containing a variety of content. It highlights several aspects of the game, including Viewing Turb, which allows players to enjoy developer talks and fan contributions related to Senkoku Turb. Listening Turb focuses on the music and sound elements within the game. Reading Turb is about the story and novel aspects of Senkoku Turb. Having Turb allows players to enjoy illustrations and fan art on the visual memory unit. Connecting Turb mentions the ability to connect to the Senkoku Turb homepage and participate in Turb events. Furthermore, there will be an additional minigame based on the opening sequence of Senkoku Turb. The page also features an interview with developers Masuya and Kuroyanagi, who discuss the visual memory content, character ideas, and the story. They mention a new setting called Hitsuji ga Kini Naru, sheep are concerned about trees, and hint at Episode 0. Additionally, the page introduces Senkoku TURB producer Masao Masuya from Bio_100%, who originally created Senkoku TURB as a PC-98 freeware game. Finally, it announces the revival of the official Senkoku TURB fan page following this interview. The next page announces that Death Crimson 2 is appearing at the Tokyo Game Show, although it is humorously labeled as Not Display in a red crossed-out circle, implying it might be a behind-the-scenes or special showing. The game is also featured at the Akihabara Messe Sano event. The page highlights Death Crimson 2 as a highly anticipated Dreamcast title, even jokingly calling it the #1 soft laugh. It mentions a planned event in Akihabara on September 19th at 2 p.m. for fans to gather. There are screenshots of the game in action. A special report indicates the game is 95% complete and lists features like being developed by ECOL Software, a release date of November 25th at 5,800 yen, described as dark gallery shooting,
supporting 14 players co-op, and compatibility with Dreamcast gun, vibration packs, microphone devices, and communication. The page also includes an interview with Yuri Rosenberg, the actress playing the role of Momo in the game. She describes how she got the role, mentioning seeing an ad for voice actors and sending in a tape. She also mentions that initially she didn't know much about Death Crimson, but researched it online and was surprised by what she found. She was originally contacted by Mr. Onogata for the role of Momo, and eventually met with the company president. The interview touches on the music, with Momo contributing lyrics for the ending theme, aiming to capture the game's image in the song. This page is focused on Descrimson 2. It announces nationwide location test events happening in September at various locations in Japan for players to experience the game. A new enemy character called Metal McQuinery is introduced, highlighting its environmental mapping technology. The game's theme song is also emphasized. The page features comments from voice actors like Patrick Luis and Kitamura Hiroka, as well as sound composer Ogata Masafumi, discussing their contributions to the game's sound and expressing excitement about the title. Finally, there's a scoop announcing the release of the Descrimson 2 soundtrack under the Crimson label. This page showcases the Dreamcast game Zombie Revenge. It highlights that the game is a port from the NAOMI arcade board and boasts a high degree of visual fidelity in the Dreamcast version, even down to the opening demo. The page details the character selection screen where players can choose between two characters, noting that in two-player mode, the same character cannot be selected by both players. It also reveals a feature where holding the start button during character selection allows players to choose a 2P color variation for their character, which is purely cosmetic, with no gameplay changes. Control instructions are provided, explaining that the analog stick controls movement, the Y button is for punch attacks, the B button is for shooting, and the X button is for guarding. Dashing is performed by using the analog direction key and the X button together. The screen layout is explained, detailing the health gauge, infection rate, player position on the map, score, and weapon icons. The weapon pickup system is described, where players can acquire weapons by pressing the Y or B buttons when near them. Finally, the gun sight system is explained, which enhances gun power when locked onto enemies, indicated by a targeting reticle. This guide covers Episode 1 of Zombie Revenge, starting in Area 1 Woodside City. Players begin by facing weak zombies and are advised to use the variable shot, a combat mechanic that increases gun power as the targeting reticle changes color, water blue to red, with red being max power. A key event involves rescuing Yoko. Players must defeat initial zombies to trigger a message, then quickly eliminate the 4 zombies surrounding her. The guide emphasizes combat techniques. The variable shot is crucial for efficient damage. Dash attacks, direction plus X, then Y for the attack, are effective against all enemies, even disarming weapon-wielding zombies, and have a wide range. Basic Y button combos are good for close range, with variable shot follow-ups. The guide also warns of dangerous enemies, particularly the red-clad McCoy zombies wielding weapons. Players should prioritize and defeat these enemies, ideally using dash attacks. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game D2. Presented as a photocomic, it showcases scenes from the game's opening. The page is titled D2 Me 2 and is designed to build excitement for the upcoming title. Details include the release date of December 23rd and a price of 6,800 yen. The game is described as an action RPG for one player. The preview is divided into 3 scenes. Scene 1, Blood, shows snowy landscapes and hints at a person moving through the snow, raising questions like, why, where to, and who. Scene 2, Coma, shifts to a warmer setting, a warm mountain hut, depicting a character inside. Scene 3, Clash, takes a cosmic turn with the phrase, a star comes from the distant yonder, and aiming for the mother star, suggesting a larger conflict and exploring themes of power with questions like, what is his power? The page uses a visual storytelling approach with screenshots and text snippets to introduce the game's atmosphere and narrative elements. This page presents Scene 4, Accident, a storyboard set on a plane on December 25, 2000. The scene unfolds as a woman named Laura drops a compact mirror. A man retrieves it, noting its beauty and the inscription, "To Laura from your mother Lucy."
commenting on it being a precious gift. He asks Laura if she had a nightmare, as she seemed uneasy, and she admits her discomfort with flying. The bottom section of the page features text related to Second Destruction God's Shadow, and the scene concludes abruptly with a loud bang and the words, "To be continued," suggesting this is a preview or teaser, potentially for a game, hinting at a dramatic event related to Second Destruction God's Shadow. This page is an advertisement and contest for the game D2, titled The Prophecy of Fate, Prediction of Fate. It's asking readers to predict the fates of 8 characters from D2. The advertisement explains the premise of D2, questioning whether characters will survive as humans with red blood or become monsters with green blood. Character profiles are shown for Laura Barton, Larry Duvall, Parker Jackson, Deborah Blair, Jenny Rain, and Cliff Andrews. There is also one profile represented by question marks. Each profile gives a brief description of the character within the game's context. The page details the rules of prophecy for the contest, instructing readers on how to fill out a prediction sheet and send it in. Readers are to predict whether each character will live with red blood, die with red blood, live with green blood, or die with green blood. Instructions include cutting out the prediction sheet, pasting it onto a postcard, and including personal details like address and age. The deadline for submissions is December 22nd. A section titled Award of Correct Answers mentions that prizes will be awarded to participants who correctly predict the fates of all 8 characters. If there are many correct entries, winners will be chosen by lottery. Finally, the page provides the address to send contest entries to, which is at SoftBank Publishing, Dreamcast Magazine Editorial Department, specifically for the D2/POF contest. This page is focused on the game D2 and its presentation at Tokyo Game Show 99. The event is titled D2 Theater and is described as a virtual D2 experience. The article highlights that the Tokyo Game Show in September 1999 will feature D2 prominently, with the D2 Theater booth showcasing the latest gameplay footage. This will be the last opportunity for users to see the game in action before its release, and new footage and information is expected to be unveiled. The D2 Theater and Sega booth will be a closed theater format accommodating 120 people, showing the latest 78-minute promotional video for D2. It's not just about the video. The theater's interior, sound, and props will enhance the D2 atmosphere. Outside the theater, a snowmobile model from the game will be displayed for photos. Visitors to the theater will also receive a special pamphlet and the latest promotional video. There is also a collaborative project called D2 The Chance between Warp and Dreamcast Magazine. This initiative will give Dreamcast Magazine readers special goods. By answering a quiz in the September 24th issue of Dreamcast Magazine and bringing the application form to the D2 Corners exchange booth, the first 250 people each day will receive a Lola figurine and a special money clip. The exchange point is marked with a specific sign. This page is an advertisement for a computer magazine called Custom, Volume 2 from 1999. The main focus is on PC customization and upgrading, particularly highlighting the AMD Athlon processor and dual CPU setups. The magazine features articles on compatible motherboards from brands like Microstar, AOpen, Shuttle, and Asus, mini-tests on CPU grease, and reviews of new video cards like the Matrox G400 Maximum. It also advertises a CD-ROM and book titled Become a Composer with PC 2000 Edition, aimed at beginners who want to create music on their computers, suggesting it's easy for anyone, even just by whistling. The product is marketed as a guide for aspiring digital creators. This page is the reader submission corner called Guru Powers, a section of reader dreams and submissions. The page introduces Dream Plaza, a place where everyone's dreams become one. It also features Uzuki Sisters with Cat, introducing the personalities of the Dream Plaza personalities. Uzuki Sister, Dream, Uzuki Brother, Castic, and Uzuki Cat, Boo Boo. The page highlights expected sequels and transplanted titles, showcasing a few upcoming games. First is Rental Hero No. 1, with a screenshot of the gameplay, described as a comical heroic action game. Next is Evolution 2, also with a screenshot, calling it a world-exploring RPG. Black Matrix and Advent Children are also listed. Reader submissions include humorous anecdotes about game experiences. such as mistaking a sad-looking Dreamcast package for a sad face, a funny incident during Dreamcast chat involving misidentification of gender,
and a dream about being a baseball player repeatedly traded and mass-produced. Another reader shared their thoughts on Soul Calibur, comparing Mitsurugi's visual memory to a Hachijojima parsley, which only they understand, and a funny story about their 13-year-old sister saying, "If there was a cat like this, it would win the Nobel Prize," while watching Guru Powers. Momao. Another submission talks about wanting to be praised for their original gameplay, and feeling disappointed when others copy their ideas in online games, while another shares a dream about semen, and wondering if selling semen data is profitable.
This page is dedicated to fan submissions under the theme of Illusion Aquarium and Illustration Garden. In the Illusion Aquarium section, it showcases user-submitted creature designs, mostly themed around semen. One section is titled Forbidden Pet and features a creature described as requiring special feeding and being potentially poisonous. Another section called Charming Pet shows a creature described as Semen Lady. There are also sections featuring creatures contributed by people from various prefectures, like Fukuoka, Yamagata, Aomori, and Fukuoka again. One entry describes a seaman resembling Robert Alexander Schumann, noting its musical nature. Another entry features a seaman that is evolving. The Illustration Garden section has a call for submissions with the theme Winter Sports. It showcases fan art, with one piece titled Autumn, depicting a character enjoying roasted sweet potatoes, described as a typical autumn scene. Another artwork mentions Zero Divid 2 from Osaka, praising its graphics and asking about a Saturn version. Another section from Hokkaido is titled Appetite of Autumn, showing a character eating pizzamen, which seems delicious. Tokyo's submission is titled Autumn Winds Sea, and features characters in an autumn scene, noting the desire for more color. Another Tokyo submission is about the King of Fighters, and mentions Game Center memories from around 1999. Chiba and Okinawa submissions depict characters in a love scene, described as Love X2, and referencing Battle Country Turb. The Uzuma Manga section presents reader-submitted manga and illustrations from across Japan. The page features announcements encouraging submissions for the Guru Powers 2 corner. Several manga strips are showcased, including humorous stories from Kanagawa, Yamagata, and Nagasaki prefectures. Dedicated sections highlight diverse artwork. Machine features detailed mecha illustrations from Shizuoka. Congratulations! Evolucon 2 celebrates something with a cute character illustration from Hyogo. And Submission Illustration Youngest Age presents a piece by a 10-year-old artist from Oita. Finally, Osaka Prefecture, Erumin, showcases a pop music style illustration and promotes a winter sports theme for future submissions, signaling an influx of new talent and content. This page is showcasing game reviews under the title Guru Powers Release Zone Declaration, starting with Treasure Hunter G for Super Famicom. The reviewer from Saitama praises the characters, especially the Brother Blue, and the detailed graphics. However, they felt the playtime was too short, and the final boss was weak. Next is AZL Panzer Dragoon RPG for Sega Saturn, which is praised for its deep characters and impressive presentation. The reviewer from Fukushima mentions the game has a capacity of 300,000 copies sold, and enjoys the staging and story, though they note that RPG fans looking for extensive item collection might be disappointed. Shining Force 2i for Sega Saturn is mentioned, with the reviewer from Yamagata simply stating, "Synthesis is good, truly Mo," expressing a strong positive feeling. Finally, Final Fantasy V-2 is featured with an image of a black mage-like character. The reviewer reminisces about the Final Fantasy series and the job change system, particularly enjoying Final Fantasy II-I, and noting that Final Fantasy V-2 doesn't have mid-game job changes. They appreciate the equipment and job variety that create interesting mid-boss encounters. In other sections, there's a racing game called Capital Battle vs Hard Driving, set in Chiba, with a desire for a Megamix version. There are also character illustrations with humorous captions and a comic strip section titled Island Route Prefecture/Asami, focusing on summer memories and the sea. Submission guidelines and a present announcement are also included on the page. This page features an interview with musician Ku Hayama, who gained fame with the music for the game Super Brothers in 1993. Hayama reflects on his childhood memories of gray skies and his contrasting interest in the vibrancy of baseball. He discusses how baseball became a pivotal game for him, Representing a departure from his father's more academic expectations, Hayama shares his perspective on entertainment and games, highlighting his preference for real-life experiences over virtual simulations. He also touches upon the appeal of science fiction and SD Gundam-type games, acknowledging their engaging qualities, especially for children. He is currently involved in creating music for 4 major game titles. The page also advertises Hayama's releases, including the Front Mission 3rd original soundtrack, Tempest 2 children's song, and the 99 Super Brothers Legend Best and Super Remix album. Merchandise like t-shirts and bandanas featuring Hayama are also advertised. The page concludes with Dreamcast Magazine contact details and website information. This page is the weekly Dreamcast Readers page, volume 40, titled Custom. The main theme is about creepy talk and how to improve communication desires to have more positive conversations. The article discusses the topic of erotic conversation with women and the challenges of communication in general. It also touches upon the topic of Namami girls and the difficulty of smooth conversations with them.
A cartoon strip at the bottom features characters named Nimura and Miso. Overall, the page seems to be an advice column or opinion piece about communication and relationships within the context of a Dreamcast magazine audience. This article uses humor to discuss Japan's perceived cultural decline, contrasting it with the author's unused Dreamcast setup. Despite a meager income, the author feels obligated to continue his column, bemoaning contemporary trends like popular music and video games over reading and film. Used bookstores now stock primarily game software and adult material. The article then focuses on the Dreamcast game Seaman, discussing its unique gameplay and popularity. GameShop employees highlight its unconventional nature, blurring genres and emphasizing player interaction through conversation with the titular character. The game's appeal lies in the feeling of connection and stress relief it provides. A side panel illustrates this interaction. Finally, the page advertises a video release of live performances from various bands in Okinawa. This page is a comic strip titled Samsung Yoshimatsu Theater and appears to be the 40th installment. The strip is titled, Sega's Games Are the Best in the World. Final round? It seems to be a humorous take on Sega games. The comic depicts characters with box-shaped heads, numbered 32, possibly representing the 32-bit era, or Sega Saturn. The characters are discussing something related to Sega and games. They are eating at a table, then are shown running and hiding behind bushes. And finally, in a final showdown scenario, the text mentions September 13th, possibly as a date related to an announcement or event. One character says, DVD damon na, which translates to, it's a DVD, you know. Another says, Pure Suit 2 Kayo, which is PlayStation 2, huh? The final panel mentions, Final Battle, September 13th, and God's Wind is Blowing. The small text at the bottom says, Next time from Sega's Games Are the Best in the World 2 Desu, suggesting this is the end of a first part and there will be a sequel or continuation. The comic seems to be humorously depicting the competition between Sega and PlayStation, referencing the upcoming PlayStation 2 and the shift to DVD media. It is likely commenting on the anticipation or anxiety around the Dreamcast competition with the PS2. This page is a guide for the Tokyo Game Show '99 Autumn. It's split into 3 parts: Event, Exhibition Software Catalog, and Product Sales. It lists exhibitors and their booth numbers at the show. You can see a huge list of game companies who are present, including Sega, Konami, Capcom, and SNK, amongst many others, giving their booth locations. There are also some images, including character art and game screenshots, scattered throughout the page. The event edition of Part 1, spanning 8 halls, highlights game show stages as the event's centerpiece. Sega Enterprises, North Hall 1, Booth 4, focuses on Dreamcast network titles like Electronic Brain Battle Vacharon, Oratorio Tangram, and Yakutsuku Net Taikai, emphasizing network content and data downloads for games like Shenmue and Saskatsuku. The main stage in North Hall 3 features the TGS Navi Plaza and a Langrisser Millennium event. Atlas, South Hall 1, Booth 2, hosts a Devil Summoner X Special Talk Live. Bandai Group, Central Hall 1, Booth 4, showcases Dreamcast content, hero shows, Super Robot Wars Quiz Tournament, and stage events including Kira Kira Melody Gakuen. Sega's booth diagram details various areas, like the Network Corner, VM download, and stage. The Tokyo Game Show 99 Autumn event, specifically for Dreamcast users, is highlighted. Key attractions include stage events and game showcases, such as Shenmue presentations and mini-action games. For Dreamcast users on September 19th, there are tournaments for Soul Calibur and Gakyo Yamazaki, plus a Bikuriman 2000 VM download service. The Sega Mainstage program features games like Power of Dreams, Rent-A-Hero No. 1, Space Channel 5, and Eternal Arcadia. Other publishers are also holding events. Konami has events including a Wangan Midnight Battle and Tokimeki Memorial 2 events. Sony will show upcoming PlayStation titles. Taito hosts game tournaments and live performances. Namco is planning events and seeking feedback for future Dreamcast development. Several booths also have unique events, including radio recordings, talk shows, game tournaments, and live performances. This page is from a Dreamcast game exhibition catalog, highlighting 8 upcoming titles. Idol Janshi wo Tsukuchao Heart from Jaleco is a mahjong game where you raise an idol mahjong player, featuring character customization. Atsumare Guru Guru Onsen by Sega is a communication game set in a hot spring resort, offering various games including mahjong and network play. F1 World Grand Prix from Sega promises a realistic Formula One racing experience. Sega is also bringing NFL 2K and NBA 2K, aiming for authentic American football and basketball simulations, respectively. Uka Hushin Uka Sakishikoku, a simulation RPG by ESP's MediaWorks, is described as having a unique system based on card game elements. Class King Yamazaki, Provisional, is a party game adaptation of the popular manga, and Climax Landers is an RPG from Sega known for its VM-compatible minigames and dungeon crawling. The page also includes a guide on how to read the game information boxes and understand booth locations at the event. Tokyo Game Show 99 previews showcased a variety of upcoming Dreamcast titles. Sega's lineup included golf games like Play Golf and Let's Play Golf, the soccer management sim, Let's Make a J-League Pro Soccer Club, and the highly anticipated adventure game, Shenmue Chapter 1 Yokosuka. Other Sega titles previewed were the rhythm action game, Space Channel 5, and the arcade ports of Zombie Revenge and Evolution 2. Other developers included Capcom's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Sunrise Interactive Strategy RPG Sunrise Heroes Saga, Tommy's wrestling game, New Japan Pro Wrestling 2-Kon Ritsuden 4, Banpresto's Super Robot Wars Alpha, UBI Soft's racing game Speed Devil, NEC Interchannel's Romance Adventure, Sentimental Graffiti 2, and Konami's Dancing Blade, Bravely Default. This Dreamcast Games showcase highlights a diverse library. Konami's Dancing Blade 2 is an adventure with enhanced animation. Dreamcast sequencer Autoire offers easy music creation. Capcom's Super Steel Battle Chronicles Kikai-O, Tech Romancer, is an upgraded fighting game. Nepachi Las Vegas Trip is a pachinko game with online play and a Las Vegas Trip prize. D2, an action RPG, offers an immersive experience. But Biohazard Code Veronica brings survival horror. Train Go 2 is a train simulator. Treasures Bangai-O is a shooting game. Cyber Troopers Virtualon is an arcade fighting game. Flower Troop Match Columns 2 is a puzzle game. Dugu War Chronicles 2 is a battle simulation. Vermilion Desert is a hard battle RPG, and Panzerfront is a tank battle simulator, emphasizing realism. Finally, Special Effects Adventure Action Movie Superhero Legend is a hero action game. The Tokyo Game Show 99 Autumn featured a diverse lineup of Dreamcast games. Notable titles included Puyo Puyo DA, a rhythm action game, and Black Matrix Advent, a tactical RPG. Sega showcased Pro Mahjong Goku D, a mahjong game, Pro Yakyu Team wo Tsukuru, a baseball management sim with online play, and Ready to Rumble Boxing, an arcade boxing game. Other highlights were Berserk, an action game based on the manga, and Poppin' Music 2, a rhythm game. NEC Interchannel presented multiple games, including Melty-Lancer, Rebirth End of the Century, a homunculus raising sim, and Monster Breed, a monster breeding sim. Other genres were also represented with titles such as Makai X, Adventure, Kaiketsu Club 3, Perpetual Blue, Communication, Revive, Tsuse, Trap Adventure, Romania No. 203, Simulation, and
With You Mitsumete Itai, Love Adventure. The Tokyo Game Show 99 Autumn featured merchandise from numerous game companies. Sega offered Dreamcast and Sonic Team goods. Konami sold items from Tokimeki Memorial 2 and B-Mani series, including confectionery. ESP had Evolution and Grandia merchandise. SoftBank Publishing offered magazines and event-limited telephone cards. Capcom featured Biohazard and Dino Crisis goods. Messiah sold Langrisser Millennium items. SNK offered goods from KOF, Samurai Spirits, and other series. NEC Interchannel sold telephone cards from various titles. Atlas had Makai X, Persona 2, and Growlancer goods. Data East featured a Revel VE telephone card. Compile sold Puyo Puyo merchandise and lucky bags. This case. Imagineer offered Mary Atelier goods. Kadokawa Shoten sold Martian successor Nadesico illustrations and Gatekeeper cards. Sunsoft had Kuru Kuru Chameleon merchandise. Taito offered Psychic Force wristwatches. Data M Polystar sold Roommate and Bokan no telephone cards. Tommy sold Two Heart figures. Other exhibitors included Enix, Koei Tecmo, Namco, and others. This page is a column titled Black or Only Things I Don't Understand by Fumio Kurokawa. The article discusses the recent Namco vs. Konami game copyright issues and the challenging situation for Jaleco in between. It touches upon the Tokyo Dome, Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game battle event, and the unclear sales strategy. The author then talks about Sega of America's Dreamcast launch strategy, mentioning the price drop from $129 to $99, mirroring Nintendo's N64 price drop. It mentions Dreamcast's European release date in October and the delayed internet connection setup. The column concludes by expressing uncertainty about the future of the game industry and the Dreamcast's success, pondering if it will really be successful in the U.S. market and the overall competitive landscape. It also includes profile information for Fumio Kurokawa, detailing his work in the music and video game industry since 1960 and his current role at SoftBank Publishing. The Anime Check It preview announces the OVA Breakage, based on a manga serialized in monthly Comic Beam, releasing September 25th on video, LD, and DVD. Set in 2007, the OVA adapts the first chapter, focusing on the Virtual Puppet (VP) game where players pilot robots. It introduces protagonists Kiryu Kiryu, voiced by Kenichi Suzumura, and Takahara Airi, voiced by Kazuna Yamasaki, and their robots Kuru and Benkei. Suzumura, a fan of the manga, and Yamasaki enjoyed their roles. Pre-order bonuses include trading cards with original cover art. A poster giveaway with original artwork and a deadline of September 30th is also advertised. The original manga has 10 volumes, with guidebooks and side stories available. This satellite TV channel guide announces upcoming anime releases and broadcasts. Rental releases include Mobile Suit Gundam, Volumes 8 and 9, Angel Will Be, Volume 2, A D-Police Action Point 3, Sergeant Karo, Space Pirate Mido's Great Adventure Volume 5, and Digimon Adventure Volume 1. Other releases include Go Ahead! Space Battleship Yamamoto Yoko Mission 1, Millennium Kingdom 3, Musketeer Vanny Knights Volume 3, Steam Detective Case Point 7, and Guardian Angel Getten Volume Point 3. Satellite broadcasts include Battleship Potemkin on DirecTV Movie starting October 1st, and Brave Raideen on Family Geeky Joe from October 3rd. This page is an advertisement for the official guidebook for the Dreamcast game Frame Guide, which was a Japanly release. The guidebook is advertised as a complete collection of all parts and square data, created by the staff behind the Armored Core strategy guides. It promises tactical technique explanations, stage with maps and data, verification of all parts and squares with numerical values and practical effectiveness, and a large number of setting drafts to expand the game's image. The guidebook is a 5-size, 144 pages, all color, and priced at 1,300 yen. It is currently on sale. This page is from Takemoto Izumi's Various Thoughts bi-weekly column, and it's all about Teleka, which seems to be some sort of prepaid telephone card possibly used as payment or promotional item in the gaming industry. The comic strip starts by mentioning attending a JGC card game and board game event and a Moncol card game signing event, where there were long queues. It then discusses how signing on Teleka was quicker because of the smaller size of the cards. The comic then moves on to discussing illustration manuscript fees, with the artists suggesting getting paid in Teleka instead of money, as manuscript fees are becoming increasingly paid in Teleka these days. The final panel mentions various works and a signing event related to Asaski's Tokimeki Popura game, set around September 25th. It also makes a reference to Katsura Masakazu's manga series Yagami-kun's Family Circumstances. The column title suggests it's a collection of thoughts and experiences related to game development and the industry at the time. This page is an advertisement for the Giant Graham All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 in Nippon Budokan Perfect Guidebook. It highlights this guide as the key to mastering the game and becoming a wrestling champion. The book features in-depth game system explanations for beginners, wrestler profiles, special interviews with wrestlers Mitsuharu Misawa and Kenta Kobashi, and secret technique data files. It's currently on sale and highly recommended. This page features an article titled Seaman, Last One, where Omi discusses her experiences playing the Dreamcast game Seaman. She talks about how engrossed she is in raising the Seaman character, treating it almost like a pet, and worrying about its well-being even when taking it outside. Omi mentions enjoying layered clothing in the current cold weather, and her excitement about fashion. There is also a section titled Daily Life of Omi-chan, as seen by her beloved dog Pudding, which seems to be a lighthearted story from the perspective of her dog. Omi's profile is featured, highlighting her voice acting roles in anime such as Martian's successor Nadesico, where she voiced Ruri Hoshino, and Evolutia, Evolutionary Planet. The page also includes Omi's illustration room, likely a fan art section, and a call for readers to send in letters and questions to Omi. The next page details how to fill out the included questionnaire postcard, providing examples of good and bad answer entries using numbers. It lists Dreamcast hardware peripherals, like the Dreamcast arcade stick, racing controller, and various memory and networking adapters. The page also lists Dreamcast software titles such as LUGU Late, Undercover AD 2025 Key, Eternal Arcadia, Skies of Arcadia, and Sonic Adventure International. Additionally, it outlines the articles in this issue, covering topics such as the latest AM show news, Tokyo Game Show reports, Dreamcast software reviews, and columns about popular series. Finally, the page presents the questionnaire itself, asking readers about their demographics, magazine reading habits, opinions on the current issue, favorite articles, and their Dreamcast hardware and software ownership and purchase intentions. This page is a Dreamcast hot information page from a Japanese magazine, listing upcoming and recently released games with page numbers for more information. The page mentions several Dreamcast titles, including Street Fighter II-I, Double Impact, ESPIONAGENTS, Mabaroshi Tsukio, Panzerfront, Idol Janshi Otsukuchao, Bloody Matrix Advanced, Suku no Kibatari Space Griffon, Pura Pura Puramu, Yukyu Gensukyoku, 3 Perpetual Blue, Rainbow Cotton, Seirei-Ki Liveblade, and Shanghai Dynasty. The second section lists more games such as Climax Landers, Pro Yaku Team Otsukuru, Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling Tukon Retsuden 4, Martian successor Nadesico the Motion Picture, Prince of Darkness, Cool Borders Burn, and Martian successor Nadesico the Mission. The page also features an illustration of an anime-style girl standing in front of a grilled hamburger restaurant, with menu items listed like Grill Shake at 20 yen, and hamburgers currently at 35 yen. There is also a cartoon image of a beaver wearing a pilot's helmet, with a question mark above its head. The bottom of the page promotes a Dreamcast Soft Complete Guide, focusing on thorough strategy for Dreamcast games. This page is a preview for Street Fighter II-I W Impact on the Dreamcast, highlighting it as the first consumer port of the game. The title emphasizes the W for Double Impact, indicating that this release will include 2 games from the series. The page features character art of Ryu and Ken, describing Ryu as a legendary main character who has aged slightly but still possesses immense power, and Ken as Ryu's good rival, known for his light footwork. There are screenshots showing gameplay and a percentage completion meter at 80%, suggesting the game is still in development. The bullet points indicate Capcom is planning a winter release. The price is undecided, but it's a versus fighting game, and it supports the Puru Puru Paku and arcade stick, likely referring to rumble packs and arcade stick compatibility. The Street Fighter II section explains the game's place in the series, highlighting its status as a popular 2D fighting game, and mentioning the different Street Fighter series like Street Fighter, Street Fighter II, Street Fighter Zero, and Street Fighter II. It points out that the latest iteration, Street Fighter II on Third Strike, is currently popular in arcades due to its deep and intricate combat system. This page is focused on Street Fighter II first games on Dreamcast. It highlights two titles, Street Fighter II-1, New Generation, and Street Fighter II-1, Second Impact. Street Fighter II-1. New Generation is described as a new direction for the series, featuring mostly new characters, except for Ryu and Ken. It introduces new systems like blocking and super cancels, promising fresh strategic depth for fighting game fans. Street Fighter II-1. Second Impact is presented as a refined version of the previous game, with subtle adjustments and two new characters. The article suggests it feels almost like a different game due to these changes and new techniques. Screenshots showcase gameplay from both titles, featuring characters like Sean, Alex, Ryu, and Elena. The page also mentions that the Dreamcast version will faithfully reproduce the arcade graphics, emphasizing the beautiful graphics and animations of the Street Fighter II series, previously challenging to port to home consoles. Finally, there's a small announcement for GigaWing being ported to Dreamcast as well, described as a vertical scrolling shooting game with a unique scoring system. This page is focused on the Street Fighter II series of games, highlighting features of Street Fighter II, New Generation, and Street Fighter II on Third Strike. It points out that the Super Arts Select system and blocking are key elements that define the series, creating deep strategic battles. Each character has 3 Super Arts to choose from before a fight, influencing tactics and combos. Blocking is described as a system to parry opponents' attacks and counter, a crucial skill in the game. The page showcases several characters, including Yun, described as popular and skilled in aerial combat and diverse attacks. Necro is introduced as a bizarre character, who uses stretchy limbs, offering tricky offense. Ibuki is mentioned as a high school girl ninja, with swift continuous attacks and varied mid and low attacks. Sean is portrayed as a cheerful, hot-blooded character who resembles Ryu in style, hinting at his abilities. The page also briefly touches upon the Dreamcast version's game modes, mentioning Arcade Mode and Versus Mode. Arcade Mode replicates the arcade experience with character endings fully realized. Versus Mode is described as a mode for player battles, allowing super art selection per round, handicap settings, and stage selection, adding new elements to round-based play. This page showcases Street Fighter II Second Impact, highlighting it as the second installment in the series. It introduces several new characters for this version, which are Hugo, Urien, Oro, Elena, Dudley, and Yang. The page features screenshots from the game, demonstrating gameplay and character portraits, with brief descriptions of each character's fighting style and background. It mentions this version is coming to Dreamcast, and teases further information to come. This page showcases the game ESPIONAGENTS with the tagline, "Kill 'em all!" It highlights that the game is nearing release, indicated by the large red Japanese text, meaning just before release. The page features artwork of 2 characters, a blonde female and a blue-skinned male. A section titled Game System Q and A for those who want to be bosses is present, suggesting the player takes on a boss role in the game. The text mentions that it's a spy organization boss simulator, where you tackle various missions. It advises players to understand the basic system through a Q&A format before playing, and mentions checking the manual. Release information states the game is 100% complete, and will be released by NEC Home Electronics on September 23rd for 5,800 yen. It is a simulation game supporting VGA, vibration packs, and arcade sticks. The developer's message describes ESPIONAGENTS as a parallel search real-time action game, emphasizing a new sensation of gameplay and exciting missions, urging players to become the boss. Screenshots show the in-game interface with agent names like Archangel, Ling, Levin, and Saunders, indicating tactical agent command gameplay. The text below the screenshots explains that players give precise instructions to agents and respond to changing situations, emphasizing calm and calculated play. The ESPIONAGENTS was released only in Japan. This page explains how to play a strategy game using a parallel sight screen, which might seem difficult at first. It focuses on how to give instructions effectively. The page highlights that the main screen and subscreens are used to manage the game, with the main screen being where the boss issues direct orders. It mentions that agents displayed on the main screen are controllable using button combinations and directional keys. The article addresses the challenge of managing 4 screens simultaneously to understand the situation, but points out that agent actions are clearly indicated by icons at the bottom of each screen. These action icons are also shown in the status area, making it easier to grasp what's happening. The page suggests memorizing the meaning of these icons. There's a section dedicated to action icons, which are used to give commands. These icons, displayed in a list, represent actions like stop, move, unlock, battle, and event occurrence. Another section, setting icons, details icons for in-game objects: lock, electronic lock, switch, terminal, sensor, shutter, trap, treasure box, enemy, and a question mark icon. The page aims to clarify how to effectively give instructions and manage agents within the game by understanding the screen layout and the meaning of action and setting icons. This page focuses on tips and strategies for the game Espion Agents, emphasizing how to become a skilled boss. It details the importance of agent selection, skills, and algorithms for success in missions. Skill points, SP, are used for agent skills, while defense points, DP, represent resistance to traps. The page explains that agent skill levels are crucial for mission success and trap avoidance, and the right algorithm is key for decision-making, especially in trap situations and when using control panels. It warns about the consequences of agent failure and boss misjudgments. Different trap types are highlighted, such as red light sensors and pitfalls, advising players to be cautious. There's also a promotional campaign mentioned for posters and telephone cards related to Espion agents. The next page is about Secret File of ESPIONAGENTS, Volume 2, presenting character profiles for the game. Agent number 4 is Garshin Urazimir, a 45-year-old Russian explosives expert. Betrayed by his country and seeking revenge, he is skilled in handling explosives, from conventional bombs to nuclear weapons. He became involved in nuclear waste disposal after the collapse of the Soviet Union, which led to his family's death from radiation exposure. Agent number 5 is Gabriel Ernest Archangel, a 10-year-old genius boy from the USA with extraordinary abilities due to an accident. Born into a wealthy family and orphaned in a plane crash, he is a prodigy in electronics, computers, and languages, particularly in hacking. Agent number 6 is Cleopatra, a 10-year-old girl of unknown nationality who carries a mask of her deceased mother on her chest and possesses hypnotic abilities. Her mother, also named Cleopatra, was an agent skilled in Egyptian magic and hieroglyphics. The daughter is following in her mother's footsteps as an agent. The page details the backgrounds and personal data of these 3 agents for the game ESPIONAGENTS, which appears to be a Japan-only release. Maboroshi Tsukiyo, Phantom Moon Knight, for the Japanese Dreamcast, is a branching storyline adventure game. The narrative dynamically changes based on player choices and their relationships with various girls, encouraging multiple playthroughs. The gameplay is simple, relying on text-based choices that influence the story, alongside unseen factors. The story starts in a park and follows a high school student who encounters a mysterious woman, leading to events during summer vacation. The game focuses on drama, particularly with a girl named Ayame. A save data feature allows players to revisit scenes and artwork. Released on September 23 for 5,800 yen, the game is advertised as complete and promises a fully immersive experience. This page introduces a story set between June 21st and July 7th, titled Encounter and Then Changing Everyday Life, within Tsukiyo no Gakuen, Moonlit Night Academy. The story revolves around the protagonist meeting a mysterious girl named Ayame in a park. Ayame believes she is the protagonist's lover but has no memory of him. It's revealed Ayame is a ghost, the protagonist's deceased grandfather's first love. The protagonist starts living with Ayame. The story explores Ayame's daily life as a ghost unfamiliar with modern conveniences, and her interactions with the protagonist and his friends like Rika, who helps her. A new character, Misozono Hime, a transfer student from an exorcist family, notices the spiritual connection involving Minami. Asami, a girl from the protagonist's part-time job, expresses her romantic feelings towards him. Another character, Hazuki, is also mentioned, who is interested in ayame from a scientific perspective. The page features screenshots illustrating scenes from the story, including characters and everyday scenarios like cooking and chores. This page details Dreamcast news between July 8th and August 15th. Focusing on the game Sentimental Graffiti 2, it outlines several character-driven storylines within the game. One section highlights Asami's house escape, where she suddenly appears at the protagonist's home, prompting questions about her reasons, which involve her personality, relationship, misunderstandings, and interactions with a childhood friend. Another segment focuses on Bishu, a science-obsessed character who, after being saved by the protagonist, becomes interested in him, leading to the protagonist tutoring her and then dealing with her fan club. A further section describes Riho, initially seen as a younger sister figure, who transitions to joining the drama club and working towards a performance. Lastly, a section titled Early Seedling and a Moment focuses on Hayana, early seedling, and her interactions with the protagonist in a relaxing flower garden setting, where she opens up about her worries. The page uses screenshots from the game to illustrate these character storylines and scenarios. This page is about the upcoming game Maboroshi Moonlight Night. It highlights the summer festival setting where various dramas unfold. The narrative focuses on characters like Minami and Ayame, and player choices will influence who you spend the festival with, leading to different story routes such as the Nanpen and Hayabusa/Asami arcs. The story hints at themes of body swapping and explores Minami's feelings for Ayame, especially during the fireworks display. A new character named Chris is also introduced, a world-famous actress who unexpectedly moves into the protagonist's apartment, creating a comedic living situation with Ayame and Riho. It's mentioned Chris is in Japan searching for someone. An Ayame figure is announced to be in production, designed by the game's character designer Tanaka Rin. It is currently unknown if the figure will be in her school uniform or another outfit. Lastly, a special giveaway is announced for readers, offering in-game items, a Maboroshi Moonlight Night setting material collection by Tanaka Rin, and signed scenarios by voice actress Yumi Takada as prizes. This page is about the Dreamcast game Panzerfront. It's described as a realistic tank battle simulator, aiming to recreate the intensity of tank warfare, drawing inspiration from war novels. The page highlights three key aspects of the game: graphics and controls, exhaust smoke and engine sounds, and the characteristics of tanks from different nations. The graphics section emphasizes detailed screen composition and a sense of weight, noting differences from the PlayStation version and boasting polygon counts and effects. The controls are explained using a Dreamcast controller diagram, detailing functions for triggers, analog stick, directional pad, and A, B, X, Y buttons. Functions include turret rotation, gun selection, aiming, firing, binoculars, and gear shifting. The exhaust and sound section focuses on realistic details like varying exhaust smoke and engine sounds depending on the tank type. The tank characteristics section mentions that tanks from Germany, America, and Russia will feature different attributes reflecting their real-world counterparts in terms of shape, aiming mechanisms, and design. Screenshots show in-game views, including a battle interface with map coordinates and range indicators. The game is presented as a tank simulator, where players can experience realistic combat. It is noted that the game is playable at Tokyo Game Show 99 in the ASC2 booth, and is scheduled for release in December, priced at 6,800 yen. It is described as a tank battle simulator, compatible with Puru Puru Pack Rumble feature. The next page showcases a preview of Panzerfront on Dreamcast. This game plunges players into intense tank battles set during World War II, specifically recreating the conflict at Oktyabrski on July 12, 1943, during the Battle of Prokhorovka. The article outlines a playtest session, detailing a mission with objectives like halting the advance of the Russian 5th Guards tank army, forming an encirclement, launching a flanking maneuver, and ultimately breaking through and destroying the enemy forces. Screenshots provide glimpses of the in-game action and user interface, illustrating the tank combat and strategic elements. The preview follows the mission's progression through chapters, culminating in a mission complete screen, emphasizing the successful completion of the operation. The game appears to be a realistic tank simulator, where players must strategically maneuver and engage enemy tanks to achieve victory in historical WW2 scenarios. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Tsukute Asobu, Idol Sensei. It highlights the making mode, where players can create their own original characters. The game features two modes: Scenario Mode, which is a two-player mahjong game against 7 unique female characters, and Making Mode, where players collect parts to create their ideal idol student character, named Clea. The game boasts a vast number of parts, with countless combinations. The page also shows examples of character customization parts like Y-shirts, high heels, short shag hairstyles, and school skirts. The game is set to be released on September 23rd by Jaleco, priced at 6,800 yen, with a bonus CD included in the initial release. The page emphasizes the fun of character creation and the mahjong gameplay. The next page in the magazine is focused on the making mode of a game, likely from the Suchi Pai series. This mode revolves around winning mahjong games to acquire parts from opponents, and then using those parts to dress up a character to your liking. The process starts with playing mahjong and aiming to win. Winning allows you to steal parts from your opponent. These parts can then be used to customize your character's appearance. The goal is to collect 100% of the available parts. The page highlights the option mode, which is expected in the Suchi series, featuring various settings, original songs, and CG graphics of girls. The game features character-specific storylines, with 3-stage reverse slide-style scenarios that change based on your character choice, influencing personality, facial expressions, and even conversations. There's a sound section detailing stereo and monaural sound options, and a sound test feature to listen to songs and background music, including the theme song, YY. Finally, the page mentions a super fulfilling bonus CD called Suchi Pai Radio Dream Station, which includes radio-style talk, bonus tracks, original theme songs by Yuki, and warning messages. The page also showcases some parts for customization, including a military cap, a Parker hoodie, a color-changing magic book for hair and clothing, and leopard print boots. These are shown as examples of the kind of items you can get and use to customize the characters. This preview of the Dreamcast game Schwarzschild, Black Matrix, outlines Chapters 5 and 6. Chapter 5, Street of Greed, follows protagonist Abel as he escapes, gathers companions, and fights the black-winged people to save his master. They head to Pandemonium, facing the Dispute Resolution Committee. Chapter 6, Street of Gluttony, sees Abel's group in Canaan, ruled by the knight Baal, who offers a suspicious welcome. The game, a tactical simulation RPG, is complete and developed by NEC Interchannel. Scheduled for release on September 30th for 6,800 yen, it's a single-player experience. The preview encourages players to try it at the Tokyo Game Show. The text ends with a hint of challenges facing Abel and his companions. This preview for Black/Matrix Advanced, Dreamcast, details the game's story and gameplay. Chapter 7, Beyond Analyses Zeta's Hill, reveals battles across diverse locations, with a sense of impending danger and the Pope's influence. The judgment of the Otherworld Cross Army and the awakening of Seven Keys are central to the narrative, which hints at the collapse of a black-feathered world. Chapter 8, Two Equal Streets, explores conflicts with the Cross Army and the rise of the White Feather Liberation Revolutionary Army, who aim to overthrow the ruling structure. The story unfolds in towns like Sodom and Gomorrah, plagued by internal strife, while characters navigate a world where love and friendship are considered sins. The game emphasizes themes of meritocracy and offers important roles to talented individuals, regardless of their background. The page ends by highlighting the need for preparation and addressing the difficult circumstances of the characters. This page is a preview for the upcoming Dreamcast game, Space Griffin. It's described as a 3D exploration action shooting game blended with anime-style events. The game is set in the year 2148, on the moon base Hamlet, which has suddenly gone silent, hinting at a story filled with suspense and drama. The preview highlights the game's visuals and dramatic events, noting how fear of death and confrontation are central themes. Screenshots showcase in-game scenes with characters in a medical bay, a red-haired woman in a darker environment, and a blonde woman. The game is developed by Panther Software and was 95% complete at the time of this preview, with a scheduled release date of November 3rd for 5,800 yen. It's an action shooting game and supports VGA output. A comment from the manufacturer, Yamazaki from Sales, emphasizes that the game includes over 40 minutes of movie and full-motion anime events. They also highlight improvements to the game's presentation, leading to a very good balance between operability and gameplay. They encourage readers to pick up the game upon its release. The page also features images of female characters and text hinting at themes of survival and romance, with phrases like, "two survivors," and eventually, the two will love each other. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game VF Senki 2, a hard SF robot shooting game. The game is set in a moon base called Hamlet, where contact has been lost, and the player, as part of a unit sent to investigate, will uncover the mystery. The gameplay focuses on piloting machines for exploration and combat. The page highlights the game flow, which involves exchanging information with allies, obtaining map data and card keys, experiencing visual events, eliminating enemies, and using elevators to move between levels. Base exploration is key to find items, card keys, and map data from terminals, emphasizing the need for cooperation and information sharing with allies for efficient investigation. The game features VF battles, where players control a variable fighter griffin with 3 distinct forms.
Cruise for high-speed movement and exploration but limited weapon usage, Assault for high-speed mobility in combat situations, and Combat, a bipedal form with the highest combat capabilities but slower movement, ideal for close-quarters combat and defense. The game requires players to utilize these 3 forms effectively according to the situation. The page also showcases character portraits and screenshots of gameplay environments and VF combat scenarios, emphasizing the game's blend of exploration, combat, and strategic VF form switching. The tagline at the bottom reads, "Even if it is rough, we will definitely survive and return to Earth."
This page showcases a preview for the Dreamcast puzzle game, Parasu Paramu. It's touted as a new type of tumblin' battle puzzle, moving beyond typical falling block puzzles. The game stars a boy named Teo, who is described as a simple-minded but skilled Gravi player. The preview highlights the game's core mechanic, Gravi, which are colored stones. Players eliminate Gravi of the same color, but the interesting twist is the Gravi color reversal rule. When Gravi disappear, adjacent Gravi change color, creating chain reactions.
The page explains this rule with numbered diagrams and text. There are 2 main modes. A story mode where you enjoy a dramatic story and battle puzzles, and a 2-player battle mode where you can test your puzzle skills against others. The game is noted as being 100% complete and set for release on October 7th. Priced at 3,800 yen. Developed by TAKUYO, it supports VGA output. The developer's comment suggests that while it might be difficult at first, once you get the hang of it, it becomes engaging, encouraging players to find their own original tactics. The next page introduces a new puzzle game called A Chaotic vs. Puzzle, where victory hinges on strategy within a small battlefield. This game focuses on using a balance scale, Tenbin, which is affected by gravity. Section A, Balance Scale, explains the core mechanic. The balance scale moves based on the total weight of Gravi. If your scale hits the bottom, you lose. To win, you need to make your Gravi heavier and tip the opponent's scale downwards. Section B, Chaining Gravi Weight, details how clearing columns of Gravi adds weight to your opponent's scale, with chains being more effective for increasing pressure. Section C, Special Move Gauge, highlights a comeback mechanic. When you're at a disadvantage and your balance scale is lower, your special move gauge fills up faster. These special moves, which can be stocked up to level 3, are crucial for turning the tide of battle. Section D, Penalty Line, describes a penalty system. If Gravi reaches the top line, all Gravi become heavier, increasing the pressure on the player. The page also introduces 3 characters. Kanan, the cheerful and curious protagonist who enjoys libraries and works at a hospital. Mana, Kanan's energetic younger sister and Teo's childhood friend, known for her outspoken nature. And Jero, a laid-back but sharp researcher studying the power of Gravi. As based on the game mechanics and visuals, it appears this page is previewing Puru Puru Pack, a Japanese-released Dreamcast puzzle game where players battle using gravity and balance. This page previews Perpetual Blue, a nurturing simulation game for the Dreamcast, set to be released on December 9, 1999 for 6,800 yen and developed by MediaWorks. The game is presented as a teamwork-based adventure, where you lead a team of investigators in the Secret Crest Security Agency. The page highlights the self-development system, where characters' intentions are respected and you coordinate their actions during daily meetings. Screenshots depict gameplay elements, such as team member interactions, action commands, and character status screens. It emphasizes the importance of communication with team members to ensure smooth operations and character growth. The preview also mentions that the game will be featured at the Tokyo Game Show with stage events and merchandise. This page previews the Dreamcast game Elemental Gimmick Gear,
also known as EGG in English. It highlights the game's 3D polygon battles, describing them as smooth and powerful. The battle system is based around a 1-2-3-step magic casting system. Step 1 involves choosing between attack or magic. Step 2 selects the magic system from categories like support, attack, defense, and recovery magic. And Step 3 decides the specific type of magic to use, for example, fire-based magic. The page also details the adventure part of the game, which uses message windows and a new emotional response system. This system allows players to choose from 3 reactions to dialogue, influencing the story and character relationships. The story section introduces sub-characters and events, focusing on a mystery where a traveler party has been attacked, asking, "Who did it?" Characters named Varesia and Vale's Chief are shown in screenshots related to this adventure segment, suggesting a detective-style scenario within the game. This page introduces Rainbow Cotton for the Dreamcast, highlighting its shift to 3D polygon graphics, marking a departure from the 2D shooting style of previous Cotton games. It emphasizes the new 3D shooting experience, allowing players to fly freely in 360 degrees through stages set at night. The article mentions that the gameplay is now life-based, and that Cotton and Silk each have separate gauges. It also points out the unique battles in 3D fields, and the return of the bonus TEA time stage after boss fights. A section titled Previous Work, PUC, becomes Panorama Cotton, refers to the Mega Drive title Panorama Cotton, and suggests a connection between these games in terms of system, story, and characters. It teases that the stage interludes will now be full animation demos. The page shows the game is 50% complete and lists its genre as shooting, for one player only, with the release date and price yet to be determined by success. A developer comment expresses confidence in the game's progress and anticipates its Dreamcast release with Cotton and Silk. This page features previews for 2 games. First up is Seireki Rayblade, a simulation RPG from Winky Soft, currently 60% complete. This game is about giant robots in another world, and is described as a simulation RPG. The page highlights character designs including Kazami Tuya and Tanuji Akari, and shows screenshots from both the adventure and battle simulation parts of the game, where unit direction and elevation differences are important. The second game is Shanghai Dynasty, a tabletop game from Success, at 50% completion. This is a puzzle game based on the classic Shanghai Mahjong Solitaire. It boasts 5 play modes to keep things interesting: Classic, Tournament, Mahjong, Dynasty, and Pandemonium. Screenshots show the Classic mode gameplay and the Mahjong mode, which is like real Mahjong. This page is a preview for Climax Landers, an RPG for the Dreamcast. It highlights the game's focus on dungeon exploration and item collection. Releasing on September 15th for 5,800 yen, this single-player RPG supports visual memory, rumble packs, and VGA. The preview focuses on 2 main characters, Lao and Lyle. Lao is described as a powerful character with large weapons capable of dealing significant damage, though lacking in magic. Lyle is presented as a fast-acting character who excels in traps and magic. The screenshots show in-game combat and menus, including item management and character stats, emphasizing skills like item appraisal, which is available from the start. The article suggests players can enjoy exploring dungeons and collecting items, even after clearing the main story, by changing characters and strategies. This page focuses on item management and acquisition in RPGs. It advises players to effectively use consumable items and sell unwanted equipment, highlighting that basic equipment items have little value. The page also mentions upgrading your item storage capacity at the Sword House to hold 32 items, which doubles the initial capacity. Additionally, it introduces the concept of VM games that can only be purchased at shops. Several shops are listed with their unique VM game offerings. Souvenir Shop, selling games like Yogurt Big Adventure, Suyu Daku IV, and Killing Time Pack. The Convenience Store offering Too Much D is Bad and Rich Life Pack. And a shop named Rao with Knuckle, Prison Cold Armor, Prison Knight Greatsword, and Killing Time Pack. Finally, the page discusses acquiring legendary items using tokens at a Monster House VM device, mentioning the Gaia Shield as an example of such an item, obtainable through token exchange, but notes that these tokens are difficult to acquire. This page is a dungeon guide for the Battlefield Forest in the Dreamcast game, Record of Lodos War, Deed Lit Saga. The guide specifies the dungeon is 7 floors deep, food is normal, and monster attribute is none. It focuses on playing as the character Rao, highlighting his strength, which can defeat regular enemies in one hit, but suggests using recovery-type monsters as companions. It notes Rao's starting weapon is Knuckles, and recommends getting better equipment in town. The guide also mentions that undead monsters, which are common in this dungeon, can revive after being defeated once, and are weak to healing magic. Ghosts are also highlighted as a type of monster to be aware of. There are floor data tables showing monster encounters for both scenario and random dungeon entries, listing enemy types for each floor. The page introduces the boss of the dungeon as the Corpse King, an undead-type enemy with high physical attack and auto-recovery, advising players to use items for recovery and healing magic against it. A story section briefly describes Rao joining the party after defeating the Corpse King, and the subsequent meeting with Sword, Lyle, and Rao to discuss future plans. This page is a dungeon guide for the Great Shrine Dungeon in the Dreamcast game Elemental Gearbolt. It highlights that food is scarce, and elemental attributes are important in this dungeon which spans 11 floors. The page lists floor data, showing recovery points and monster encounters when entering via scenario or randomly. Monsters mentioned include enemies like Flame Turn, Ball and Fire, Heavy Knight, White Suits, Watchdog, Unicorn, Ice Turn, Pollen Freeze, White Dress, Volcano, Porostar, Maboshi, Burglar, Thundercloud, Glasshead, Wonder, Emerald, and Stone. The guide advises players to leverage elemental properties effectively in their magic use as floor attributes change. It also mentions the boss, Witch Millmania, who uses magic and summons 3 monsters, suggesting players should try to endure her magic attacks while focusing on defeating the summoned monsters. The page also briefly mentions the story, highlighting Marlin and her role in unlocking the game's narrative. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game, Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team, a sports simulation game. The page highlights the game's features, including the ability to create a strong baseball team and compete in world leagues. It mentions that after winning the Japan Series 3 times, players can challenge world teams featuring monster players from America and Cuba. The page emphasizes the importance of ace pitchers for both starting and relief roles, and strategically building a powerful starting lineup. There's also a section about a special Try It Out edition of the game from the Tokyo Game Show '99, which includes 3 original player characters that are promised to be future Shrank superstars. This page introduces the Space All-Star Team Challenge in the Dreamcast game Pro Yaku Team Wotsukuru, a baseball simulation game not released outside of Japan. After becoming the world's #1 team, players face this new cosmic challenge with bizarre-looking opponents. The page highlights 2 key aspects of the Space All-Star Team. Firstly, their pitcher Golden Venus Beauty boasts an incredibly low 0.99 earned run average, emphasizing the challenge in scoring against them. Secondly, their batting lineup is described as a Big Bang lineup, indicating a powerful offense. To acquire Space All-Star players for your own team, the page explains that after experiencing a match against them, overseas scouts will become available who can find these unique players. Victorious players who defeat the Space All-Star Team will be rewarded with special features. They will gain the ability to create moonstones and unlock Mars as a training camp location. The Mars camp is noted as particularly effective for greatly enhancing both pitching and batting skills. Furthermore, after encountering the Space All-Stars, players can utilize new Create Player Mode parts to make their own space-themed baseball players, including unique skin colors, hairstyles, and features. In the Japanese baseball management game, Pro Yaku Tsukuro, veteran players eventually decline. 4 options exist to manage this: release/retiree, trade, retain, or challenge for records. Releasing veterans is a tough but necessary move to streamline the team, and can be softened by framing it as the player's choice. Trading veterans can acquire needed talent, but negatively impacts team atmosphere if overused. Retaining veterans provides on-field support and mentorship. This option emphasizes the value of experience and leadership. Finally, challenging veterans to break records offers a satisfying career conclusion and potential legacy. Focusing on attainable goals helps create positive outcomes as they age. This page focuses on Professional Baseball Team Otsukuru. Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team, a Dreamcast game not released outside of Japan. It's presented as a special project between the development team and Dream Magazine, featuring advice from Dr. Yakutsuku Hakase on how to succeed in the game, especially in tournaments. The page gives strategic tips, emphasizing planned player development and training to win tournaments, and highlights the importance of not neglecting relief pitchers in team management. There are comments from the development staff, including designer Oya Kayo Hiroshi, expressing their passion for the game, An announcement promotes a Tokyo Game Show tournament big event for professional baseball team Otsukuru, scheduled for September 18th and 19th at Makuhari Messe. The page also announces the results of the Dream Magazine Cup tournament for the game, with results to be posted on the game's homepage. Screenshots show in-game interfaces with player stats, team management screens, and baseball gameplay action. A photo features Dr. Yakutsuku, named Baba Ho-jin, alongside a group photo likely from a community event related to the game. This page is all about New Japan Pro Wrestling Toucan Retsuden 4 on the Dreamcast. It's a wrestling game, and this article seems to be a preview focusing on some of the characters and a special online tournament. There are character spotlights for wrestlers like GPW1 Gokuyama Riki, described as a U-style fighter with strong strikes, GPW2 Tachibana Jr., a mysterious ruffian wrestler, GPW3 Liverpool Yamada, a martial arts expert who uses bone techniques, GPW4 Darcy Khan, a wild fighter from Europe who is actually a technical wrestler in disguise, and GPW5 Nakano Garden, a tricky wrestler with unpredictable moves. Each wrestler description highlights their fighting style and some moves. There's also a section warning against using a downloadable wrestler called Bad Example, who is designed to be overpowered and break the game rules in online matches. It explicitly states this wrestler is for download only and not to be used in online battles. Finally, the page announces the first official Team Flag tournament, starting October 7th online. It details the entry requirements, which are to be part of an edit wrestler group and ranked in the top 5 within your group. The tournament has a ranking system where winning a match earns you points, and the ultimate winner gets the right to raise their team's flag in the game. There are also prizes mentioned for the tournament winner and best fighters, including corner posts used in G1 events and signed wrestling mats. The Golden Club Editor Training Course for Golden Pro Wrestling, GPW, on Dreamcast offers guidance on editing wrestlers. Body weight determines wrestler class. Heavyweight versus junior heavyweight. But height is irrelevant. Base wrestlers influence AI logic and initial movesets. Changing these is permanent. Critical combinations boost finishing move power by 1.25 times. Body part damage reduces attack power for that part, with 0 HP resulting in vulnerability. Wrestler voices are limited, but can be customized by using existing wrestlers' names for announcements, allowing for orthodox version wrestlers. The text also addresses online play, emphasizing fair gameplay in GPW, which promotes pro wrestling-like taunts. Excessive dashing and throwing are discouraged as poor etiquette, especially after opponents reach 60% health. The text stresses respecting pro wrestling rules and highlights the Golden Pro Wrestling Ring team's commitment to fair matches and the spirit of pro wrestling. The Unadorned Super Warrior interview profiles professional wrestler Manabu Nakanishi, exploring his life outside the ring. The piece details Nakanishi's upbringing on a family farm and his unexpected path to wrestling. Inspired by Antonio Inoki, he began wrestling in high school at his parents' urging. He initially struggled but earned a scholarship to Tokyo University of Agriculture. After university, Nakanishi was hesitant to take over the family farm, but also uninterested in job hunting. He was offered a position with the Okayama Prefectural Board of Education while wrestling, and also joined New Japan Pro Wrestling's dojo, leading to his professional debut. The article notes Nakanishi's profile, including his January 22, 1967 birth date, his October 1992 professional debut, his 1995 Young Lion Cup victory, his G1 Climax participation, and his 186 centimeters height and 125 kilograms weight. The interview promises to discuss his professional career in the next section. This page features an interview section titled, I Wanted to Show the Parts One Wanted to Show, which is focused on a professional wrestler, likely Nakanishi, discussing the Dreamcast game, Toucan Retsuden 4. The interview delves into his wrestling background, experiences in America, and his approach to wrestling. He talks about his early days as a wrestler, training in America, and experiencing culture shock. He reflects on winning the Young Lion Cup, but not being fully satisfied with his performance, but seeing it as a stepping stone to improve. He also discusses differences between Japanese and American wrestling environments, highlighting the more demanding and self-reliant nature of the American scene. Nakanishi expresses his desire to be a wrestler like Hashimoto, known for his aggressive style, and his ambition to always be able to make a comeback, even when on the defensive. He concludes by defining the appeal of professional wrestling as showcasing superhuman abilities within a defined set of rules, differentiating it from a real fight. A screenshot from Toucan Retsuden 4 is shown, featuring wrestlers in a ring, illustrating the game being discussed. The next page is dedicated to the RX-77D gun cannon mass production type from Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story 0079, Rise from the Ashes, on Dreamcast. It presents the machine within the game's BIC system menu, showcasing its stats and weapon loadout, including the 100mm machine gun, 240mm shoulder twin cannon, and 60mm head Vulcan. The page analyzes the gun cannon's performance, pointing out its strengths like strong armor and high searchability, making it durable and effective in close-range lock-on combat. However, it also notes weaknesses such as a slower dash speed and the inability to use a beam saber. A gameplay tip is provided regarding target lock-on with the analog stick, suggesting players place shots ahead of the target. This page is a Gundam Side Story 0079 Dreamcast strategy guide focusing on tactics for using the gun cannon unit effectively. It advises players on how to use the gun cannon in close combat, emphasizing techniques like dashing, tackling, and effectively using the cannon after knocking down opponents. The guide also touches on using machine guns and cannons simultaneously. Furthermore, it mentions the network capabilities of the game, pointing players towards the official Gundam Side Story website to access more information, download new weapon data, and participate in online community features. In a news section, it's announced that there will be an anime adaptation based on Gundam Side Story 0079. The article highlights the animation character designs created by Toshihiro Tosato, noting fan anticipation for this development. Finally, the page details downloadable content being released for the game, including the beam sprayer gun weapon and an output generator, with a schedule of release dates for these items. This strategy guide for Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story 79's Mission 5, Anticipated Ambush Placement Site, outlines how to defeat all enemies, including helicopters, Zaku-2s, GOGs, and a Yukon-class submarine. The mission requires destroying the target and all enemy mobile suits. Enemy forces consist of a Zaku-2, a Commander Zaku-2, 3 GOGs, and the submarine. Key strategies involve destroying helicopters at point 1, prioritizing close-quarters combat against the GOGs due to their megaparticle cannons, and maintaining distance from the submarine to avoid missile attacks. The guide suggests staying 340 meters plus away from the submarine, or even further when attacking from the side. The GOG's data table is displayed, along with screenshots, and provides a combat tip to attack from the side or back. The next page is a strategy guide for Mission 6 of a mech action game, possibly related to the Gundam universe, titled Pursuit, Astalos Sample. The mission briefing details that players will control 3 gun cannons and must defeat DOM and other enemy mobile suits. The mission objective is to eliminate all enemy mobile suits and units, including 3 Mega Siemens 06J Zaku-2, 1 Mega Siemens 06S Zaku-2 Stipe, 1 DOM, and 1 Gallop. The guide warns of the Stipe Zaku using foot missiles, which can temporarily disable units. It advises players to prioritize defeating the DOM first, as leaving it allows it to provide suppressing fire from outside the player's field of view. Destroying the Gallop will trigger reinforcements of 2 Machine Gun Zaku-2 J-type units. For faster stage clear and increased civilian support, Mission 6 should be completed within 8 minutes, and Mission 5 within 10 minutes. The guide offers combat tips against the DOM, recommending close-range combat as the DOM's bazooka is difficult to hit with at range when it is moving. It suggests using heat sabers in close combat against DOM units. The page also includes a stat table for the MS-09 DOM, detailing its armor, vernier output, rotation speed, dash speed, searchability, weapon details for the 360mm giant bazooka and 90mm machine gun, and other characteristics. This page is a guide to understanding the parameters of characters and boards in Cool Borders Burn on Dreamcast. It explains that character and board parameters greatly affect gameplay, influencing trick combos and overall performance. The page details the individual characteristics of 6 characters: Axel, Tia, Monica, DJ Ken, Roni, and Bob. Each character description highlights their strengths and weaknesses, with stats for jump, technique, power, stability, reaction, and speed. For example, Axel is presented as well-balanced, Tia excels in stability and reaction for trick play, and Monica is fast but unstable, suited for advanced players. The guide then breaks down different board types: freestyle, all-round, and alpine. Each board type is described with its general purpose, such as freestyle boards being trick-oriented, all-round boards being versatile, and alpine boards being speed-focused. The page lists 3 variations for each board type: FS13, ALL13, AP13, with numerical stats for acceleration, speed, reaction, grip, cornering reduction, and stability. It advises players to choose boards that complement their character's weaknesses and playing style, suggesting freestyle boards for characters lacking stability, and speed-oriented boards for speed-focused characters. The guide also mentions that board performance significantly influences speed and turning, especially reduction in speed during turns. This guide provides tips for achieving high scores in Cool Borders Burn's Super Pipe mode. Success relies on mastering fundamental techniques, accelerating quickly, using the right analog stick for smooth movements, and timing ollies. Landing angle is crucial. The scoring system comprises overall trick points, a technical grade, and additions/deductions. Scoring factors include grab tricks, rotation speed and direction, jump amplitude exceeding a 30-meter standard, and landing accuracy with a 45-degree angle ideal. Combo bonuses and consecutive successful jumps/landings are also significant. The guide offers a specific tip for performing the Misty trick. Finally, it suggests using streetlights as visual cues in Extra Super Pipe for perfect trick timing. The next page is all about mastering the trick system in Cool Borders Burn for Dreamcast to maximize your score in the freeride courses. It details how scoring works, breaking it down into trick, time, and total points, and emphasizes that trick points are crucial in specific trick areas. The page highlights spin tricks as being very important for high scores, giving a table of points for different spin degrees from 180 degrees to 1,440 degrees. Similarly, it lists flip tricks and their corresponding points. There's advice on how to grab until the very last moment before landing a trick to increase your score. It also talks about landing straight to get a clean landing bonus. Extending your jump distance is mentioned as another technique, although speed is key for that. The article then breaks down specific grab tricks and their point values, categorized by button presses. Indie and tail grab using the B button are worth 100 and 120 points respectively. Melancholy and tweak using the R button are worth 150 and 180 points. Finally, the page introduces special tricks for different characters. Axel has Judo to FA and Karate. Tia has Stale Fish and Aquarius. DJ Ken has Missile and Rocket Dive. Ronnie has Method VT and Junk Split. Monica has Puff She Puff and Born to Free, and Bob has Carbine and King Step. These special tricks are worth 200 or 300 points, and are said to be essential for combos and bonus points. This page is all about mastering the score attacker in Cool Borders Burn. It's a guide to racking up high scores, focusing on techniques like the manual for extending airtime by holding the B button while riding, and fakie landings which give bonus points. The page also emphasizes the importance of trick combos, with increasing score multipliers for longer combos. It highlights how different snow conditions, such as powder and ice burn, affect gameplay and trick performance. Finally, it promotes a score attacker competition event with original Cool Borders merchandise and QUO cards as prizes for top players, and details how to enter the contest. This page is a strategy guide for Stage 5 of Mobile Battleship Nadesico, the mission on Dreamcast. It details the Mars Pole Crown Ruins area's stage, highlighting it as a relatively simple stage, but emphasizes the importance of tactical commands. The guide explains that Stage 5 focuses on exploring ancient alien ruins and battling against the Martian successors. The page includes a map of Stage 5, marked with the Nadesico starting position, mission areas, event locations, and ice lake areas. It mentions several small events within the stage that can improve crew member compatibility based on player choices. 5 events are detailed. Event 1 Foot Remains. Investigating remains triggers a handwritten letter event and is not urgent to complete until Stage 9. Event 2. Watermelon Field. Involves Izumi finding a Geekigen Gar doll while checking Estabalis Mecha. Event 3. Handwritten Letter. Occurs after Event 1 in the Ice Lake area and improves Ruri and the protagonist's IFS values. Event 4 Ice. Gathering ice from the Ice Lake for ice making raises IFS values for both Haumai and Harley. Event 5 Sukomi. Selecting enemy investigation in Harley's question improves Goat and Saburuta's compatibility, while choosing Wrong Path rewards the rail cannon item. The guide advises players to prepare for battle by reinforcing Estabalis units and using sortie and special move commands. It also notes that boss battles are not predetermined and occur randomly in this stage. The next page is a strategy guide for Mission 13. Stop the occupation of the Polar Crown ruins. In the Dreamcast game, Martian successor Nadesico, the blank of 3 years. The guide details how to complete Mission 13 and 2 hidden missions. Destroy the Tulip and intercept Denjin. Mission 13 involves deploying Estivalis units and Nadesico to attack enemy battleships and secure items like rail cannon, solar sail, and external battery. Using Nadesico's gravity blast is recommended for maximum effectiveness. Hidden Mission A, Destroy the Tulip, focuses on destroying the Tulip, a material transfer machine, while managing Estivalis fuel outside Nadesico's gravity wave area. Players are warned about Jolo and Bata enemies, and advised to use melee weapons against the Tulip, which is resistant to beam attacks. Hidden Mission B, Intercept Denjin, introduces Denjin, a powerful secret weapon which has invulnerability periods. The strategy is to evade attacks during these periods and focus on damage when vulnerable. Defeating Denjin will reward players with relic parts. The page includes maps for both hidden missions, detailing enemy unit locations such as Yatenko, Kanazuki, destroyers, battleships with 4-barreled cannons, air combat frames, and Denjin. It highlights the importance of Nadesico's gravity wave for energy supply to units. A player, Sorafu Aozora, struggling with poverty in World Neverland Plus Olrud Kingdom Stories, seeks advice. The magazine suggests several income strategies. Beginners should focus on memo hunting and selling items, particularly in Calvin City. Efficient jobs include flower carriage delivery, especially during the A-League era. Players can also acquire items from ORLG leaders, Blackport, and IM tree plantations. Reader submissions, including comic strips, are featured in other sections. The magazine jokingly advises Sorafu to gift Cecilia's tear instead of gems for their lover to improve their financial situation. The next page displays a section called Old Kingdom Submission Communication, which is inviting readers to submit their 4-panel comics. There are examples of these comics provided, titled Amazing Performance, Mean Friends, and Age 14, showcasing different slice-of-life scenarios. The page also gives instructions on how to submit these comics, specifying dimensions and requiring color submissions. Below the comics are user submissions titled This Week's Power, with comments from readers with IDs like WP002034 Vans, WP000011TK, WP001793, Rat N Roel, and WP002568. Sharing their experiences with the magazine and the Old Kingdom section. Finally, submission details including the address for Dreamcast Magazine Editorial Department, Old Kingdom Submission Communication, and an ID number, WP000037 are provided. This page is a manga strip titled Evolution Ozibon Episode 21 by Ueda ESA, likely promoting the Dreamcast game Evolution, The World of Sacred Device. The manga page features character introductions and comedic scenes, giving a glimpse into the game's world and characters. At the bottom, it is also advertised that Evolution, The World of Sacred Device 2 Distant Promise, is also in development for Dreamcast. The game details include Dreamcast platform compatibility, development by Sega/ESP/Sting, and that it is a single-player game. This page is focused on Naomi Juku, showcasing Sega's Naomi arcade platform. It acts as a guide to the latest and upcoming arcade games for the system. The page features images from Dead or Alive 2 starring Kasumi, the racing game F355 Challenge, the fighting crossover SNK vs. Capcom, and the shooter Outrigger. A detailed list presents 26 games, including their developers, release timeframes, and additional notes. Featured titles include The House of the Dead 2, Power Stone, and Crazy Taxi, with Crazy Taxi highlighted as planned for international release on Dreamcast. Other games mentioned are Zombie Revenge, Virtua Striker 2 2000, F355 Challenge, and Puyo Puyo DA. Many of these titles are noted as being in the process of, or already ported to, the Dreamcast console, with some Dreamcast release dates included in the notes. Interestingly, the list also mentions an early version of what would become Capcom vs. SNK, listed as SNK vs. Capcom. The next page is a preview of Dead or Alive 2 and features a Team Ninja interview focused on the game's story mode. The page highlights that the story mode in Dead or Alive 2 is designed to be a drama unfolding in real-time movies, aiming to portray the emotions and relationships of the characters in a realistic way. The interview emphasizes that this story mode is the ideal way for newcomers to experience Dead or Alive 2, even for those who might not typically be interested in fighting games. The developers wanted to create a mode that could be enjoyed by a wide audience, including those who are drawn to the characters. The interview mentions that the story mode is designed to be very accessible, with easy-to-grasp controls and a focus on creating a friendly experience for players. The goal was to make it deep in content but approachable for anyone, embodying the concept of "This is Dead or Alive 2." Screenshots show in-game scenes, including Kasumi, in various locations and story-driven moments. The page also mentions that Dead or Alive 2 was showcased at the AM show and TGS, Tokyo Game Show, and that the story mode is a key feature for home console users to check out, highlighting the 12-HIT system. This page is dedicated to Dead or Alive 2. It highlights the dramatic confrontation between Kasumi and Hayabusa, describing Kasumi's internal conflict as she faces her brother's friend. The text poses questions about her true feelings, whether it's hatred or something else, and hints at a drama set in snowy plains with a bloody outcome. Ida's diary column discusses the progress of Tina's ending movie, expressing satisfaction with visualizing her dream in the game. The page also features a Postings Welcome section encouraging readers to submit ideas for merchandise, participate in character popularity polls, and share their thoughts on the appeal of Dead or Alive. It mentions submissions should be sent by postcard or email. This page is an article previewing the Dreamcast game F355 Challenge Twin. It is reporting from the AM show, where the Twinia-type version of the game was revealed. The article highlights the game's features, focusing on how it uses the VM, visual memory, unit, to store and share driving data. The game is described as a full-fledged driving simulator, with up to 8 players able to compete via network play. The AM show revealed the twin-type version, and the article promises to deliver the latest information. The article details how the VM can be used to save driving data from the arcade version of F355 Challenge Twin, allowing players to bring their data home to their Dreamcast. This data can be used to display racing lines in yellow, compare your driving with friends, and analyze driving techniques. Other features highlighted include the replay function with viewpoint changes and zoom in/out capabilities. The article also mentions plans for online rankings and ghost card data distribution using the VM and Dreamcast internet connectivity, suggesting future content and projects for the game. The page shows screenshots of the game's title screen, menu screens, and gameplay, demonstrating the data display and replay features. The VM compatibility and network features are emphasized as key selling points. This page highlights 2 games. Firstly, it details the twin-type feature in F355 Challenge, showcasing how race conditions change based on the game mode. It explains that car number colors indicate player levels. Blue equals beginner, yellow equals intermediate, red equals advanced/PRO. The page mentions 3 race conditions: heat, aid, and professional, with heat being described as beginner-friendly with assists, aid as intermediate with some assists, and professional with no assists for advanced players. It also promotes a website for more information. Secondly, the page announces the first public showing of the Naomi arcade version of SNK vs. Capcom. It confirms that characters from both Capcom and SNK universes will be in the game, including Ryu, Chun-Li, Guile from Capcom, and Kyo, Iori, and Mai from SNK. The page also mentions that the game is still in development, and further details will be revealed later. Screenshots from both games are included on the page. The 1P mode in Outrigger serves as a training ground to teach players, particularly beginners, the controls for the arcade versus battles. Developed by Sega Soft Second Research, this training emphasizes the unique eyeball aiming system. Players can choose between normal and advanced control schemes. The training focuses on movement and target shooting, primarily using the eyeball controller for aiming and a trigger for shooting. Players eliminate terrorists appearing from both sides. The immersive experience aims to replicate the feeling of using a real gun sight. Upon completion, scores are calculated, though still under development, to enhance player enjoyment, even for experienced users. Success depends on defeating a set number of enemies. This page details gameplay tips and information for the Sega Dreamcast game Outrigger. It highlights Mission 2, wide area search and destroy training, emphasizing using the eyeball to change direction and target terrorists in a building scenario, while also being mindful of civilians. It mentions the difficulty in distinguishing between terrorists and civilians. Mission 3, close-range battle training, focuses on close-quarters combat, using a rocket launcher, and collecting timer items in a map with obstacles, emphasizing that time over is game over in training mode. The page also introduces 1P mode support systems, including a radar that displays enemy locations and a warning marker that changes color to indicate enemy attack status, useful even in training mode. Finally, a character profile is shown for Alain Grandciel, describing him as a cool and skilled operative. This interview with Outrigger's developers discusses the game's development for the Naomi arcade board. The developers aim to leverage the Naomi's power to deliver high polygon graphics, similar to Shenmue. Key features include a marker system displaying player names, enhancing immersion, and fostering a sense of rivalry. The developers also address the challenges of creating a networked 3D battle game, citing Quake as an influence. Outrigger incorporates a medal system to encourage player movement and discourage camping, leading to dynamic and engaging gameplay designed for short, intense sessions. Screenshots showcase the 3D graphics and fast-paced action. The interview concludes by positioning Outrigger as a potential leader in the arcade 3D battle genre, suggesting it could challenge PC online battle games. This page from Dreamcast Magazine Issue 2 is showcasing a preview of a wrestling game event called the Debut Battle. The article highlights the game's technical and comical wrestling aspects and aims to determine who will be king of the ring. The text mentions it was tested for a trial period and was well received. The spectator mode regulations for this event have been changed. There are several dates and locations listed for these events. September 17th is the current date of the article. Events include spectator mode at West Exit, Main Building, and Central Exit locations. September 19th features a VM Battle Mode event at the West Exit. September 26th will host Technical and Comical Wrestling Departments events. Finally, on October 3rd, there will be Department Representatives, plus Dream Team, by Sega Dream Team Decision Tournaments. Locations for watching and participating are Shinjuku Sportsland's Main Building and Central Exit Store, with operating hours listed for different days of the week. This page from Arcade Express Volume 57 introduces the upcoming arcade game, Strider Hiryu 2 from Capcom. Celebrating 10 years since the original Strider, this action game is planned for release in autumn. The article highlights its action gameplay, mentioning it is on a PS/Saturn compatible board and aims to create a new legend building on the 2D and 3D strengths of the original. The screenshots show fast-paced action platforming gameplay, with the main character battling enemies in varied environments, including futuristic and castle-like locations. The article praises the game for retaining the essence of action games and focusing on player freedom by allowing movement across walls and ceilings. The control system is described as simple, using a direction lever and 2 buttons for attack and jump. The article emphasizes the visually appealing 3D backgrounds and stage direction as a notable feature, highlighting the fusion of 2D character animation with 3D environments. This page details upcoming games, primarily focusing on a new title in the Strider series, referred to as Hiryu in Japanese, showcasing a fusion of 2D and 3D graphics and a new boost system that temporarily enhances the player's abilities for powerful attacks. It highlights various enemies like Dullahan, Sturridge Shuts IV, Frozen Mammoth, Gravity Core, and even the return of the aerial fortress Balrog from previous games. The page also introduces Great Magical Strategy, a new shooting game from Capcom and Aiding, described as a sequel to Gigawing and part of the Magical Drop series, emphasizing its 2-player cooperative play on the CP System 2 arcade board and hinting at further details to come. The overall tone is one of excitement for these action-packed titles. This page presents a profile of Sayaka Kamiya, a 17-year-old personality born on April 20, 1982, from Kanagawa Prefecture. Her personal data includes her hobbies, which are snorkeling, fishing, and photography. The page lists her career appearances in various TV shows like Iko Iko Azarak, Ultraman Tiga, Idol King, The Young Lady is a Great Detective, Change, Girls Reformatory Principal Taruko Goes, and Natural Girl Man Next Yokohama 100 Nights Arc, which was scheduled to be broadcast in November. Lastly, it mentions her book, Sayaka 15 Years Old. The page features a picture of Sayaka Kamiya holding her hair with a big smile. The quote at the top right translates to, "If it's someone I truly like, I can say, I like you, from me." This page features a section called Dream a Girl Scene 11, focusing on Kamiya Sayaka, who seems to be an actress or model. The page mentions that she was scouted in Harajuku and initially thought she was just an idol, but grew to see herself as an actress. She aims to be like Audrey Hepburn and views herself as the Kamiya of the world. The interview touches upon her confidence and drive, suggesting she wants to pursue her goals relentlessly. There is a section called Check It, which talks about Kamiya Sayaka appearing in a House Foods Kubashi corn commercial, where she shows a refreshing smile while holding a corn snack. There were 2 versions of the commercial filmed, summer and autumn, taking a full day to shoot. She also stars in the WOWOW original drama, Natural Girl Million Next Yokohama 100 Nights arc, as a vampire high school girl. A scene where she becomes frozen is highlighted as a must-see. Lastly, there is information about a present giveaway, a yellow cushion with a flower design and Kamiya Sayaka's name on it, signed by her. 2 telecards are also being given away. The cushion is described as being good to use as a pillow, and the flower design signifies growth, while the arrow design represents overcoming any wall. Instructions are given on how to enter the draw, requiring details like address, name, age, gender, occupation, desired prize, and questions for Kamiya Sayaka. September brings cooler weather and news from SNK, including the upcoming Tokyo Game Show and SSS event. A Neo Geo Pocket Color version of SNK vs. Capcom is announced, featuring tournament and Olympic modes, with screenshots showcasing gameplay. A price drop for the Neo Geo Pocket is coming on October 21st for 6,800 yen, alongside a smaller, colorful design and the same performance. Upcoming Neo Geo Pocket game releases are listed.
The Tokyo Game Show 99 Autumn will feature an SNK goods booth selling items like telephone cards. Pocket Love If, a romance simulation game, is recommended. An illustration and popularity contest is also underway, open to all SNK games, with a September 25th deadline. This page shows the weekly Dreamcastrology horoscope section. It provides a weekly horoscope for each zodiac sign from Aries to Pisces, covering the period of September 17th to September 23rd. Each horoscope includes sections for overall fortune, advice, and specific luck aspects like money, health, love, and work. The page uses illustrations of zodiac symbols and cartoon characters to represent boys and girls, giving personalized horoscope interpretations for each. The horoscopes are tailored to the Dreamcast audience, mentioning Dreamcastrology, and focusing on luck and advice relevant to their interests, but no specific games are mentioned. This page is an advertisement for Dreamcast Magazine, highlighting special reader presents and teasing the contents of the next issue. There are 4 prize categories for readers. Dreamcast Games, where 20 winners can choose a game released before September 30th, 1999. A Mel CD postcard for 5 winners, promoting the Dreamcast's ability to play music CDs. Dragon Quest Monster Makuri card game box for 10 winners. And a Taisen Hot gimmick poster for 5 winners, advertising the first game in the series. The next issue, dated October 8th and on sale September 24th, will feature coverage of the Tokyo Game Show and AM Show. There will be a Dreamcast special feature showcasing new titles, and a 4-week scoop on Sonic Team's latest project, which is likely Sonic Adventure. Other game features mentioned include Bangai-O, J-League Pro Soccer Club, Let's Make a Club, Professional Baseball Team, Otsukuru, Atsumare, Uruguru Onsen, Climax Landers, Espionage Agents, New Japan Pro Wrestling 2-Kon Retsuden 4, and an idol raising simulation game.
Also mentioned are Naomi arcade titles Outrigger and Sega Tetris, connected to Sagata Sanshiro. Finally, there's a report on the Dreamcast's North American release. This page advertises the Dreamcast game ESPIONAGENTS, which is described as an industrial agents for active espionage simulation game from NEC. You take on the role of the boss of an industrial spy team and manage 7 subordinates to complete various requests from clients. Screenshots show the game's 3D environments and interface. The game was scheduled for release on September 23, 1999, at a price of 5,800 yen. The page also mentions an exhibition showcasing new works, amateur creations, and unreleased footage, and events like the Warring States TURB Festival starting October 1, 1999. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game J-League Pro Soccer Club Wo Tsukuru Advance, which is part of the Tsukuru series. The advert uses the phrase, "Demon Shigemori is coming back to Japan," as a tagline, suggesting a strong focus on Japanese soccer. The ad highlights the Dreamcast version as a grade-up from previous iterations, emphasizing a thorough J-League simulation and detailed settings within the game. It also mentions network compatibility for online play. The release date is advertised as September 30th, with a price of 6,800 yen and a point value of 350.